FCAA, police, or the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre right away. And that's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for B&A Petroleum and Swift Current, with multiple locations serving southern Saskatchewan for over 30 years. See B&A Petroleum for all your fuel and propane needs.
Weather tonight, mostly cloudy, some spotty showers in the area. Wind diminishing a bit out of the northwest, 25 to 45. Low down to 7. Tomorrow, looking early cloud into sunshine and a high of 18. Tomorrow night, clear, low down to 7. Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and a high of 21. Monday, partly sunny. Some spotty showers later in the day in the area and a high of 22. And Tuesday looking like showers and a high of 20. Right now in downtown Regina, it's mostly cloudy. It is breezy and it's 15 degrees.
B&A Petroleum is a southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's a beautiful day in downtown Regina as you join us for the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. High at 21 today, maybe some showers a little bit later, but hey, the sun is shining right now. I'm Teagan Witko, your host today, joined by Curtis Gammon, keeping us on the radio and on the stream, sportscage.com, our X account, as well as YouTube. You can join in the conversation there at any point. You can also join in the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, by the way, 306-936-6262. If you have any questions for any of our upcoming guests, you can feel free to share them there as well. All of our guests will be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. What we have coming up on the show today, Mike O'Donnell is going to be joining us a little bit later on this hour. Former commissioner of the Regina High School Athletic Association. Also a 4-time Ward 8 City Councilor and a member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Plenty to talk about with Mike. And also, they're going to be naming a street after him in Coopertown. So Coopertown, that new development in the northwest corner of the city, and they broke ground on that not too long ago, so pretty exciting news for him. We also have that Riders Coaches Show, as we do every single Monday, and pleased to be joined by the offensive coordinator, Mr. MArc Mueller, is going to be joining us in just a little under an hour's time here. We have your clutch performer, your sprinkle of the day. Darian Durant doubles joins us every Monday just after 5 o'clock as well. And then, of course, recapping all the weekend action with your Regina Red Sox report. So we are going to be diving into that a little bit further. Not only that, if you missed it on our pregame show for the Saskatchewan Roughrider game at home against the BC Lions this past weekend, 3 Down Nation's own Justin Dunk had a really interesting conversation with Dr. Chantel Louise, and she is Trevor Harris's mental performance coach. So we'll dive into that discussion. Very interesting to see how not only, an athlete will condition themselves physically, but the mental aspect of the game, which is something, Wes Cates and I were talking about it on the pregame show this week, how that wasn't always a priority. And now it is. And it's really, really interesting, the psychology behind it. So that's going to be coming up shortly before 6 o'clock today. Again, you can join in the conversation. Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Plenty of feedback following the Saskatchewan Roughrider win this past weekend. So if you still have something that you'd like to say about that, feel free, join in the conversation. Also, you can pick the score. Today is the day where you have an opportunity to win tickets to the next Rider home game. Okay, so we do this throughout the entire week. Today is your opportunity. Guess the score. Saskatchewan Roughriders, Calgary Stampeders, on the road for the Green and White this week. The closest guess to the actual score will win a $200 SaskTel gift card and, again, tickets to the next Saskatchewan Roughrider home game. Just for playing, you automatically get entered into that. So this week's game, again, Riders, Stamps, kickoff 5 o'clock on Saturday, and we will have that pregame show for you right here on 620 CKRM and streaming at Sportscage.com. We'll get into the Riders here in just a little bit. First, I mean, there was, a little hockey action over the weekend we should probably discuss. Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup winners in 2026. Jordan Staal with the Conn Smythe Trophy. It was really intriguing to watch the celebration at the end of the game last night. I did notice that there were some players on the benches who didn't even storm the ice right away. They went to Rod Brind'Amour and they were hugging him. And that's how you know Rod Brind'Amour is a player's coach and deserved that win just as much as anybody else on the ice. Plus another iconic cup lift 20 years later. 2006, Rod Brind'Amour, he was a Stanley Cup winner with the Carolina Hurricanes as a player. And then he got to hoist that Stanley Cup yet again as the head coach. Now, he's only one of 4 coaches in Stanley Cup history to win as both a captain of a team and then that same team as the coach. And man, looking at him hoisting that cup, I'm wondering, is he going to be a pinch hitter for this team? Because he looks ripped. He looks like he could still be getting onto the ice here and playing in a Stanley Cup final. He is not letting himself go as a coach on the bench, that's for sure. John Tortorella, however, he might need to send off for some of his clothing, unfortunately. I will be the first to admit, I was rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights because I kind of wanted to see the villain take this one. It was just, and maybe it's also because I'm a little bit biased. I'm from Moose Jaw, wanted to see Brett Howden win the cup as a former Moose Jaw Warrior. And there's so many cool storylines. And yeah, I get it. Again, they are kind of the villains in the league right now. No one likes the way that they approach this season. Didn't like the fact that they didn't address the media, during the playoffs. They brought in their head coach with 9 games remaining in the season. There was a lot of controversy swirling around the Vegas Golden Knights. But I'm still happy that the Hurricanes took the cup. I'm still happy to see that. There's a lot of cool storylines there as well, especially with Staal getting that Conn Smythe Trophy. NBA, maybe we should move on to that real quick. After 53 long years of waiting, the Knicks climbed back to the top of the basketball world, capturing the 2026 NBA title with a hard-fought finals win over the San Antonio Spurs, led by a superstar performance by Jalen Brunson. Holy smokes, what a fun player to watch. So within the course of 24 hours, hockey's done, basketball's done, and now we're all about the football. Well, and World Cup. But football here in Rider Nation is what we're excited for. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders go 1-0 to start the season. 31-27 victory over the BC Lions at Mosaic Stadium. It was 217 days since the Riders last faced the BC Lions at that very same facility when they knocked them out of the West Final. And yeah, we knew that the BC Lions were going to be coming in with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. But it was a big night for the Saskatchewan offense. Kean Schaefer-Baker, Keyshawn Johnson, a 3-touchdown night for Samuel Emilus. Man, he was on fire. He didn't get a ton of targets, but he caught pretty much every one of them. And then again, going for a Hattie, getting those 3 TDs. I had an opportunity to actually catch up with Samuel Emilus on the field postgame. A lot of high fives and celebrating down here as I am with number 19, Samuel Emilus. All right, buddy, you got 91 yards, 6 targets, just as many receptions, and 3 touchdowns. How does it feel to start off the 2026 season in that fashion?
Feel great, especially, obviously I scored 3 touchdowns, but the most important part is the win, so I'm glad we came out with this outcome.
The third and final touchdown that you took into the end zone from Trevor Harris was the difference maker in this contest. What did you see in that throw?
I saw man, and they can't guard me. That's all.
What was making the offense click so well tonight?
chemistry, preparation. Shout out to the OC, shout out to Trev. They stayed with it, and we came out with a W.
One last final question. What did it mean to you to be here for that banner raising?
It's amazing. It's a dream come true, and finally seeing it. I've been waiting for months to see it, and in front of our fans, nothing better than this.
Congratulations, Samuel. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
I had to ask about the banner raising because that was a huge moment for not only Rider Nation, but for some of the players on the sidelines. Now, I did also note there were a couple of players on the Saskatchewan Roughriders sidelines who were very antsy to get this game going. We've heard head coach Corey Mace talk about it time and time again. We're not looking back on 2025. They want to earn their right to ensure that they are getting back to that Grey Cup game, that pinnacle of the CFL. They're not looking backwards. They are looking ahead. And you know what? Head coach Corey Mace also was talking. You heard Samuel Emelis give him a shout out there in MArc Mueller, offensive coordinator. Mace was also talking a little bit about Mueller postgame.
He dials him up, man. He's a hell of a coach. I think we all understand that. And we got some really good players out there executing, and we can point to a handful of guys, but it's all 12 out there working in unison, man. You need every single person out there for one play to be successful, and I thought we had many of those.
Head coach Corey Mace talking about offensive coordinator Mark Mueller. Now, there was also some big discussion surrounding the D-line heading into this game, obviously with some key pieces from the 2025 season. Moving on to other teams, you look at Malik Carney. There was some changes. There were some fresh faces on that D-line. So you look at a guy like Desmond Evans, who got his first CFL sack in his league debut. You look at some of the other pieces on that D-line, and head coach Corey Mace was also discussing that.
D-line needs to be a unit. I feel like we have a good unit. They work well together. They can mix in speed and power. They can mix in finesse rush. They run games really well. They're doing a great job together. I know they probably wish they came away with a couple more sacks. Obviously, one got taken away on a penalty there, or Des would have had a couple. But yeah, pleased with their effort tonight. You see that we didn't press the button too much at all tonight.
So the Saskatchewan Roughriders 1-0 to start the season, 31-27 victory over the BC Lions, and we all knew that this was going to be an emotional game for a lot of these players, especially for those returning players. And one of those returning players that we saw, Antoine Brooks Jr., impressed. 13 defensive tackles in this game, and he is just right back in midseason form, as were a lot of the players that we saw from the 2025 season back on the field in 2026 for the home opener, and a pivotal moment for the club. As I mentioned, yes, there was a lot of the players who were antsy to get this game started because that banner unveiling, yes, it was primarily for the fans, but it does also still mean a lot to these returning players.
It meant a lot to me for the fans to see that, and I'm so glad that the fans get to see that 2025 banner drop, during the game. And, I'm just wanting to get another one and try to get the fans another one, honestly.
And it was pretty cool to see the returning players who came in for that. You had Mitch Picton, born and raised in Regina, retired now. He was there for the banner unveiling. Jorgen Hughes, who was with the club for over, a decade. He was there, long snapper, now retired as well, but he was also on hand to rip off that tarp and show the 2025 banner inside Mosaic Stadium. And then Dante Myers also came back, who recently signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, still under contract with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as a receiver. But of course, he's been spending a lot of time in Cincinnati. And, even when we were chatting with him on set in the Sportscage Lounge, he was saying, I was hoping to make it in time, and then he was hightailing it out of there right after the game so he could get back down south. But when you look at the rest of this receiving core, those that remain in the 2026 season, again, that trifecta is scary if you're an opposing team, right? You got Samuel Emelis, 6 targets, just as many receptions. I mentioned it earlier, 91 yards and 3 tutties. Keyshawn Johnson, 12 targets, 9 receptions, 131 yards. And then leading the pack in the receiving core, Kean Schaefer-Baker, who is such a fun player to watch with so much personality. There was one point he made a big catch. He was off on the sideline, and he even did the elbow down on the turf, hand behind his head, and he was posing for the camera. He had a night, and it was so fun to watch. 13 targets, 11 receptions, 165 yards. Yak yards, 67. And Kian Schaefer-Baker was talking post-game about what went well.
Everything, baby. We are back. That's all that matters. Rider Nation, they're feeling the juice. This whole locker room, we're on one right now. But, we're already thinking about the next game. We got Calgary next week, a new opportunity to go 1-0.
Oh, we love that. We love that mentality from KSB. By the way, if you're watching on the stream earlier, you would have noticed that when head coach Corey Mace was chatting post-game, he was wearing quite the shirt that was saying, tailgating is not illegal. Tailgating was a lot of fun at Mosaic Stadium this past weekend for the first ever. And I will say, yeah, tailgating is not a crime. Sorry, that's what it said. Tailgating is not a crime. As I was leaving the stadium, I must also admit, shout out, kudos to everybody who had one of those tailgating spots perfectly cleaned up. There was just a couple of spots left that needed to be, vacated. Thank you, Curtis. But everyone was very respectful. There was no garbage left on the ground. I think that this is going to be a pretty fun thing. Curtis, did you have a chance to check out any of the tailgating on your ventures down to the stadium?
No, I was a busy boy, so...
Oh, you had a job to do or something.
Yeah. Basically right up until we started our pregame show, I was doing stuff. In a weird way, normally you get a lot of your, stuff out, your pregame jitters and whatnot out during, the preseason, your first
Speak
couple
for
rounds.
Yourself, buddy.
Yeah, but for me personally, because Saskatoon was kind of a very different broadcast for us, this was our first home game. So there was a few things that we were working on, and I was a little bit late to the party too. I wanted to be there earlier than I was actually ended up getting to the stadium. I was saying worst case scenario, I'm aiming to be there for 1 o'clock. And then I was here at the studio and I was like, oh man, 1 o'clock is fast approaching.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I will say one of the most popular people in that tailgating area might have been, Glenn Suter. He was in attendance. I know a lot of people were taking pictures with him, but also Wes Cates. Everyone was swarming Wes Cates at our tailgate section.
He's a popular guy.
People like him.
Yeah, I had a clip of that actually at one point or another. I don't have it loaded up right now though.
That's okay. You know what? It was still a lot of fun, and I think overall a massive success. I'm excited to see how this grows in the future seasons, because this is just the first one, right? They're going to be expanding it. They're going to be broadening their horizons. They also have a beer garden in there, which is pretty cool. So if you don't have a tailgate spot, you can still walk through. You can still go grab yourself a Coors Light or whatever. Hang out in the beer garden section. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about the fans. And I thought it was pretty cool to see that come back. And as soon as you got into Real District in the parking lot, all you could smell were the glizzies. It was awesome. It was so much fun.
Oh man, yeah. I wish I could have got out. I'll try to give myself some more time for the next home game and
stop slacking,
swing by. Yeah,
stop slacking.
It wasn't if I was slacking, I would have just went to the tailgate.
That's fair.
So
one maybe it's a good thing that you didn't.
Yeah, I like things to go smoothly. I like to be on my P's and Q's, as Coach Mace would say.
So we don't need Curtis walking in wobbly.
You know what? It's just a matter of prep time. That's all. That's all. I wasn't saying I was going to have any bevies while I was out there.
You're saying that because we're live on air.
No comments.
Well, post game, there was quite a bit of discussion surrounding this game. Obviously, a lot of Rider fans were happy about the results. When you come out with a win against, a West Division heavyweight, that's a good sign, especially starting off the season 1-0. And that is definitely a lot of the comments that we're going to be hearing throughout the season. 1-0. 1-0. They're not looking too far ahead, just 1-0. But I thought there was a very interesting conversation that was sparked on the call-in show, Curtis. And this had to do with how entertaining the game was. One of many opinions, and this spiraled a bit. You can always give us your thoughts on this as well. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Wally from Regina had a little something to say about how entertaining this game was. You know what? The amount of people who texted in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262, the amount of people who said Wally for commissioner was glaring.
Wally had a lot of fans. Shout out Wally.
Shout out Wally from Regina. A lot of people agreed with him. Keep the field the same as this season. There are still a lot of people who are not into the changes that Stuart Johnston is going to be bringing in his, I guess, third year as the commissioner of this league in 2027. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes to fruition. I know that there have been a lot of people talking about these rule changes, including our very own from 3 Down Nation, Justin Dunk. Here's what he had to say in response to Wally from Regina.
Man, preach, bro. This is what I've been saying, okay? I asked Stuart Johnston, let's make sure we get it right, Johnston, there's a T in there, directly, when he had a media availability at the league meetings in January, if the league could explain their projected 60 extra touchdowns that they're talking about with what they're now calling these structural changes. He could not do so. And subsequently, I have followed up multiple times and asked the league to provide that data, and it has not come. So that leads me to believe either it's a figment of somebody's imagination, which likely isn't possible, or it just doesn't exist. And they're picking this number out of thin air, because I think we can all agree, and this was the example I used with the commissioner, Wes and Teagan, if you shrink a hockey net, are you going to have less goals?
I would imagine.
I'm pretty sure that's how the game works. Yep.
Yeah.
If you shrink a soccer net, are we going to have less goals?
Mm-hmm.
Even fewer, yes.
Yeah.
If you shrink the end zone, there's less square yardage to defend. I had the actual square yardage numbers somewhere, but I'm not a mathematician, so I can't pull it off the top of my head. But there's less turf to defend as a defense. So therefore, our caller, what's his name? I forget it.
Wally from Regina.
Wally, hitting the nail on the head. There could be less touchdowns because the end zone will become smaller to get into. So I think he's right. I would like to see the league with these changes be more transparent. If you're going to make stark, drastic changes, especially to the field and the game that we know and love so well, then put out the data to back it up.
So what do you think? After implementing that 35-second play clock, yes, some small minor adjustments have been implemented in the 2025 season, or 2026 season, pardon me, already. More to come. Changing the field length, moving the goalposts. There's going to be some additional changes. Are they needed? That's the question. And that's what I'm curious to know. Because I think, dare I say, all 3 games in week 2 were highly entertaining matches. Highly entertaining football throughout this entire weekend. So, well, I guess Thursday through Saturday. But are they required? Do we really need to worry about this? What's the point? You can argue with me. Feel free. 306-936-6262. Do you agree with Wally? Do you disagree with Wally? What do you think? I want to hear from you. 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. I know Dean messaged us already when we were talking a little bit about that trifecta on the receiving core here. He says, nothing against Tommy Nield, but there are 2 reasons why we didn't re-sign him. One is Samuel MLS. The other one is KSB, Kean Schaefer-Baker. We could only afford 2 of the 3, and the Riders made the right choice. Great performance by both of them, Dean and Regina. And you can't forget about Keyshawn Johnson either. He had a banner of a night. He absolutely impressed.
Mr. Second Down, Keyshawn Johnson.
Mr. Second Down. And yeah, it's going to be painful to see Tommy Nield catching balls for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If you're a diehard Rider fan, you never like to see that. Is Dean right? Did they make the right choice?
Yeah.
Based on Saturday, looks like they might have.
Tommy Nield's a really good receiver for sure, but yes.
I mean, look back to the last time the Riders played BC, West Final, at Mosaic Stadium. Caught that game-winning touchdown late in the 4th quarter.
Here, I'm just looking up the stats here. He had actually, even though they lost, he had a pretty good night with against Hamilton. So player stats here, Winnipeg. He went for 111 yards, 9 targets, 7 receptions. He had a pretty good night, average of 15.9 yards per reception, had only 18 yak yards, but yeah, went for 24. He was the number 1 receiver for Winnipeg last game. So He's talented, no doubt, but when you it's so tough. Yeah, if you put him in the conversation between like Sam Emilus, I'm picking Emilus every time. And Keen Schaefer-Baker is also a very good receiver as well.
Yeah, especially because the receiving core is healthy for Saskatchewan. They're dangerous. And they're fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
They're a lot of fun to watch. So if you have any comments or anything that you want to add to this conversation, 306-936-6262, text us. Going back really quickly here before we take a break to the rule changes conversation that Wally sparked up on the call-in show Saturday. JJ in Regina says 2025 was the most exciting season in recent memory. 2026 has begun even stronger. I agree. If these changes actually happen, I'm done with the league, says JJ. I've been a passionate customer for 45 years. This is a person who's watched a lot of CFL. So absolutely entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, the first week, every game was within... the Montreal-Hamilton game was within 3 points. The Winnipeg-Calgary game was within 2 points. The Edmonton-Ottawa, that was the biggest blowout in week one, being
blowout,
that being an 8-point difference. And this week, 10-point difference between Hamilton and Winnipeg, 7-point difference between Montreal and Toronto, and it was only a 4-point difference between BC and Saskatchewan. So they're all games that are coming down to like single possession. Very exciting stuff to watch. And I think, like, as far as, like, the rule changes go, like, the clock changes are definitely helping the pace of play so far. Like, we're getting in more plays. I think that was a good change. Good change. As far as the field dimensions go and moving the field goals back, man, it's, like, it's so tough to say without, like, seeing it first. Like, you can't make any definitive statements without seeing what these rule changes will do. And I'm curious, I'd be more open to supporting it a little bit if these changes are negative for the league. What are the chances you can retroactively change them back?
You can always make changes, though.
Yeah.
I feel like they happen every season. And to Wally's point earlier, when he called in on the postgame show and we replayed it earlier this hour, are you not entertained?
And we sure were entertained.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Rider fans were stressing out. I mean, even you look at that Toronto-Montreal game. That was highly entertaining football.
Oh, that last quarter, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened.
I mean, what's the old adage? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You know, that is fair enough.
Let us know what you think. 306-936-6262. You can join us, join the conversation. Rentals text line. And I also want to know if you were tailgating. What'd you think? How was your experience? You can text us at that same number. Also, Monsters and Mayhem. We have a VIP prize contest. We are giving away a chance to win a VIP prize to Monsters of Mayhem on July 17th to 19th, Kings Park Speedway. So if you'd like a chance to win 4 tickets and a ride for 4 in an actual monster truck, just listen all week for the daily keyword to text in. The grand prize winner going to be announced on Friday on the Sportscage. Text in the word right now, Monsters. Again, that's Monsters for a chance to win. 306-936-6262. Coming up next, Mike O'Donnell, former commissioner of the Regina High School Athletic Association, 4-time Ward 8 City Councilor, and a member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame is going to be joining us next. This is the Sportscage on the home of Rider Nation on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pump Jacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring, that's a lifestyle.
on the corner of Elbert and 13th. Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Welcome back to Sportscage. Check out our podcast powered by Freeze Tolman. Available anytime, anywhere at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Well, thanks for joining us on a Monday installment of the Sports Cage. My name is Teagan Witko, joined by Curtis Gammon, who's keeping us on the air, on the stream, on X, YouTube, sportscage.com. Join in the conversation anytime, 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line, of course. Yeah, even more people coming in saying they vote for Wally as commissioner as he was questioning some of the rule changes that are coming in 2027. We will revisit that conversation throughout the show, maybe a little bit more later on. But in the meantime, I don't want to keep our next guest waiting, okay? We're going to be jumping out on the Western Pizza guest hotline with Mike O'Donnell, former commissioner of the Regina High Schools Athletic Association, four-time Ward 8 City Councilor, and a member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, you're kind to have me on. Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate it. I just got to start off. Your initial thoughts with the Riders' first game of the regular season.
I was there. I loved it. I enjoyed it from the very beginning. I thought it was a consistent effort, and it was just a fun place to be. Crowd was into it. A really nice place to be.
Especially with the addition of tailgating. It's a full, well-rounded atmosphere now. But I'm curious, you've seen football evolve from the old Taylor Field to Mosaic Stadium. What's the biggest change that you've noticed in the fan experience, Mike?
The stadium is really interesting because lots of times when people look, they say, well, there's empty seats. There's this socialization that's going on around the concourse that actually, I think, adds to the atmosphere. It just looks a little different from that perception. Like you said, the tailgating to me is real interesting. I experienced it in American college football when I was at a game. People were so welcoming. I could have eaten anything, anywhere, it seemed. I hope that community building evolves here as well. So I'm excited about that.
So, Mike, what would you tell younger fans who haven't had a chance to experience Taylor Field, and what made those games special?
That's a very good question. For me, it was always about community, even way back when I was young and first going. You wanted to be proud of what goes on here. I think one of the things that's evolved is that this really is a provincial team. And so I think if we can extend that hand to welcoming people into the Regina community, into this stadium, and really make it a provincial team and build on that, i.e. the tailgating is a part of that. I hope that would work and welcome more people into the stadium.
Well, and I think they were taking a massive step in the right direction by being able to have that preseason game up in Saskatoon as well.
From what I read and what I saw from people experiencing that, they loved it and want more. That's just what you want to hear. So, yeah, that was a really good move.
So when we look at this 2026 Saskatchewan Roughrider roster, Mike, what excites you the most as we dive deeper into the season?
Boy, the offense looks strong. Those were a lot of strong individual performances from the receivers, from the offensive line, and from the quarterback. No question about that. But what I really liked was the game plan, and what I appreciate more than anything, that was a team that was playing. That was not individuals that were shouting out about themselves and their performance. I love what Coach Mace has done. I love the atmosphere that's there. That's a group of people that you can get behind. That's a team. That's what I love more than anything.
Oh, yeah. You hear players say it all the time. They will run through a brick wall for head coach Corey Mace.
Yeah. Nice to hear. That's just what you want to hear.
The banner raising at Mosaic Stadium on Saturday. I know you said that you were there. It was pretty cool. Now, someone like yourself, Mike O'Donnell, who has been involved in local sport for so long, what did that mean to you to see that fifth banner unveiled?
Maybe reflect back to 1966, to be honest with you. I was in the armories when the team was welcomed back to the city and how it made everybody feel. now you can walk into Mosaic Stadium and you can look at banners that span decades, and you can see some achievement, and it makes you just want to root and cheer and hope for the future. So for me, it was a legacy that I hope will and can be built on, and a tradition. It was a nice moment.
You bring up the 66 year. I'm curious where does the 2025 Grey Cup title rank among the most memorable moments that you personally have witnessed in Roughrider history?
Yeah, so that time back in the 60s, because I'm an old fella, back was really an interesting time. And when the team was there and you gathered and we watched, it was a reverence that was occurring. It wasn't a lot of hoopla and so on. You just were appreciative of what these guys had done and what it had brought back to our Regina and the province. And the sense of pride just lived on. That was a really, really special moment. And I think when the Riders have won over the decades, some of those, I think that's really what has stayed with me, is that sense of pride that even in our community, in our province, we can win and be champions. So it was a reflective moment for me.
Mike, you have had a remarkable impact on football here in Saskatchewan. And now you're actually going to have a street named after you in Regina's new Coopertown development. So what was your initial reaction, Mike, when you heard the news?
Honestly, it's very humbling. I haven't really told very many people. I'm not sure how you are supposed to do that, but honestly, I'm very proud, and I know that my family is very proud. So it's a wonderful, wonderful gift. I hope I'm deserving, but it feels really good.
Do you get to pick where that street is?
No, but you know what the funny thing is? I can walk there easily. It's not very far from my house.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Hopefully we'll do a little ribbon cutting or something once they open it up.
Well, that would be fun, that's for sure. But I'm just I'm looking forward to the day when the street sign's there and I can take a picture. So, yeah.
How does that differentiate? I mean, you're in the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Having a street named after you, does it feel different than some of the other honors that you've received?
You know, it kind of does, because it's going to be there forever. And again, you know, when I have looked back where I've lived in Regina or I know about streets, there's some people that I admire greatly. And so it's an interesting feeling that you get to have a street named after you. Again, I hope I'm worthy, but it's way different, yeah.
Mike O'Donnell, you were certainly worthy. I don't think that you would have.
You're kind.
I don't think you'd have a street named after you otherwise.
Thank you.
Well, what do you hope? So the young people, let's say, who are moving into Mike O'Donnell Avenue or whatever they end up calling it, what do you want to take away in terms of your legacy of sport and community involvement here in Saskatchewan?
You know, when I ran high school athletics, I had a simple goal. The idea was to make the sport fun. And the reason I wanted it to be fun, and by the way, to have a little prestige to it, is because I wanted kids to enjoy school. I wanted to stay in school. And if we could make, you know, basketball in the Agrodome then, the Brandt Center, a big deal, then maybe kids would aspire that they'd want to do that and be in school. So for me, if they can look at that street sign and say, Mike O'Donnell, school, hey, school's important and it should be fun. If that's the legacy, I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled.
Mike, you've always been heavily involved in local sports, even beyond football. Why has giving back to the community remained such an important part of your career?
I'm going to answer that question in two ways. My mother and father had a grocery store, a small little corner store, the kind that don't exist anymore. And all the neighbors came in and shopped there. All those neighbors were the little village that raised me. They are the ones that, when I played hockey or football or whatever I played, took interest in me. When I went to high school, the teachers gave me many, many opportunities to get involved in whether it was sport or chair something or, you know, address an assembly, all those types of things. And so I believe that my life has been a great gift. 4 times I was able to be elected to city council and be part of the democratic process. Those things all matter to me greatly. And I think that they've all been gifts. So if I can gift back to the community and have people happy and community involved, then I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
Mike, you mentioned it there. You were on city council 4 times. So as you look at the current state of the city of Regina and you see this new deal that is coming through at Real District, with Queen City Sports and Entertainment taking over a piece of that, do you see a benefit to this deal in the future and maybe growing sport within this community?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer about the sport part. I hope that is true. I'm not sure that the city had any choice but to go along with the offer from the Semple family, and I credit them for having stepped up and made that kind of offer. I hope it works out. I think that for too long, many city councils did not invest enough in the Real District. So this is a way of salvaging that whole area. It's in the center of our city. That matters. Always bring people back to the center of the city, just like where the pool is going to be and so on. So I'm really rooting and hoping that whole thing works out really, really well.
Very cool. You've spent a lot of time around, sports in this community. What makes Saskatchewan so special? I mean, we have a reputation for producing great coaches and athletes and volunteers. What makes our sport culture in Saskatchewan so unique?
I think there's a notion of being humble here. We're not the type of people that are boastful or arrogant or have expectations when it comes to sport. It's very much about making sure that the kids have chance and opportunity and good facilities. And I think people just want to get behind and root and see that our kids can do well. And I think that spills over as people grow into adulthood. And so we only have one real professional team in Regina, so the Riders matter. That's been invited to not only to the province, but to the rest of the country. So you really root to have all these things succeed, and people aren't afraid to buy a ticket and support those notions, whether they're in Saskatoon or Moose Jaw or Regina. So I think it's really a humbleness and a willingness to give, and I'm very proud of that.
Mike O'Donnell, member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, 4-time city councillor here in the Queen City. I'm curious, we should maybe talk a little bit about soccer because that's sort of a big deal that's happening right now with Canada being one of the host countries, right? I mean, FIFA World Cup in Canada. That is pretty cool, especially earning the first ever Men's World Cup at this point. I mean, Canada, you got the draw against Bosnia, Herzegovina. How significant do you feel this moment is right now in terms of soccer and what it means for the sport in Canada and here in Saskatchewan?
Let me tell you a little bit about my experience in the soccer community in Regina, and also because I was invited into Saskatoon. I didn't know a lot about soccer. It was one of the sports I never had a chance to play or understand. So when the Regina Soccer Association hired me, it was with the idea of both running the leagues, but to build the indoor facility. That was a learning experience for me. The people in the soccer community care very much about the sport. They are willing to put their money on the line so that we can have an indoor facility so that they can play both summer and winter, obviously. And so I just learned a lot from them about their passion and so on. So when I sit back and see that there's a World Cup on, man, the passion, whether you like soccer or not, by the way, you have to reflect and appreciate what it is that brings all those people together. And even if it's a 1-0 game, which seems so strange when we'd have higher numbers in football. So I learned a lot. So I appreciate the fact that as a country we have a chance to welcome the world here and actually see these really, really talented athletes from all over play. It's a pretty special time and obviously a great start, not just for Canada, but for our host cities. This is a big deal and a fun time.
And it is pretty cool. I mean, just watching the trends within sports, you might talk to someone, way back when the Raptors went to the NBA final. You'd never watched a basketball game before, but suddenly that Kawhi Leonard shot, everybody knew what the Raptors were up to. It's the same thing with, Canada hosting this tournament. Thousands of young athletes are watching. How much do you think this moment can change participation levels in the sport?
Well, the best example of that is when the Blue Jays won last year and how that's turned baseball out. I would tell you that there's going to be a lot of kids playing soccer because they can see the height of it. They can see the fun part of it. They can see the joy, and they can see that emotion. So I think a lot of kids are going to turn to soccer next. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I just want kids active, and I want kids to appreciate what is offered to them. So this is a great opportunity. And we have really good facilities in Regina, so hopefully it spills out here. Maybe someday, who knows, a professional soccer team in Regina. Who knows?
Oh, are you dropping some nuggets there, Mike? Do you know something we don't?
No, I wish I did. But I will tell you a little story. I gave serious consideration when there was a fellow from a country called Russia who owned the steel plant in Regina. I was about to make a contact with him. I wanted to see if he would put some money into our community. Now, he's not involved anymore, but who knows? Maybe in the future there'll be something like that could happen.
Okay. Well, I know who to reach out to if I want some inside information, maybe.
Okay, I'll try.
Mike O'Donnell is our guest. Mike, I am also curious, as a sports fan, obviously, what's been your favorite part about watching Canada host the World Cup so far?
I know this sounds kind of corny. It's not actually the game. It's what goes on around it. One of my sons sent me a note that he lives in Vancouver, and he and his sons all went off to one of the festival sites, and of course they just had a great time. I really like that idea that not everybody might be able to fit into the stadium, but like the Olympics, when you have viewing areas and so on, I think that's what the real spill-off will be, that people can have a part of it. And again, if we can get more kids playing, that's what. By the way, and more adults playing too. Don't get me wrong. So I think that's my joy in seeing those things.
Well, it's a really cool and unique opportunity for Canada to be, one of 3 host countries in this 2026 World Cup. Finally, Mike, I know I've taken up far too much of your time, but I do need to ask and maybe put you on the spot a little bit. We have something called SaskTel Pick the Score. This is where people text in their predictions of what they think is going to happen with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in their next game. So in Calgary on Saturday, what do you think the final score is going to be?
So I don't want Calgary to win. I just want to be real clear about that. I really like the Rider offense, so I got to give them probably something in the neighborhood of 28 again. And I think Calgary is going to have a tough time. I might give them 14. I'll go 28-14.
All right, producer Curtis, lock it in. 28-14. Mike O'Donnell. SaskTel Pick the Score.
Thank you.
Of course. No, thank you so much for this, Mike O'Donnell. Of course, former commissioner of the Regina High School Athletic Association, 4-time Ward 8 city councilor, and a very well-deserving member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Mike.
You're very kind. I enjoyed the conversation. Take care.
Well, we'll have to catch up again soon.
Thank you.
Joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, make sure you grab yourself some Western Canadian favorites made with all the best ingredients, delicious pizza, all your Greek favorites. Oh, so good. Again, Mike O'Donnell, Western Pizza Guest Hotline. And yes, you can also send us in your predictions. SaskTel Pick the Score, chance for you to not only win a pair of tickets to the next Riders home game, but also a $200 SaskTel gift card. So you can text in your predictions right now. Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. I do also want to remind you, you can now get your 50-50 tickets for the next Rider home game as well. New early bird prizes to be won every game, so you have until Thursday at 10 o'clock this week. Kananaskis Nordic Spa for 2, and then a 2-night stay at the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge. The Pomeroy Mountain Lodge looks very fancy. Also, one-day hydrotherapy, self-drive, or you can just take the money, which is $2,700. Okay, so riders5050.ca for more on that. Make sure that you grab your 50-50s and make sure that you text us with your score predictions. I know the Prairie Land Rentals text line has been going off at 306-936-6262. Talking a little bit more about how entertaining Week 2 was in the CFL and if those rule changes are actually needed. We'll get to more of your comments here in just a moment, plus your sports ticker is going to be coming up here as well. well. So hang tight. We'll be back. It's a Sportscage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
What if I picked the wrong hail coverage?
Palliser.
Or I miss a better deal?
Nah.
Or better coverage?
Palliser.
You never worry?
No.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Insurance. Call your trusted agent today or buy online at your convenience. Visit PalliserInsurance.com. Anywhere, anytime.
If you've been putting up with cold showers and hard water that makes everything feel like more work, stop waiting. Reliance Heat makes it easy. Rent a water heater and a water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400. That means hot water when you need it and water that just works better. No big upfront costs, no hassles. Visit waterheaterrentals.com to get the offer.
Call on Reliance.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Play of the game? Touchdown! More like the game to play. The new Saskatchewan Roughriders Scratch and Win ticket. It's your chance to win 10 years of Rider season tickets, a premium suite for the home opener and the Labor Day Classic, and tons of Rider swag. Plus, 2 chances to win $75,000. Tickets available at your favorite lottery retailers. Proudly brought to you by Sask Lotteries, supporting sport, culture, and recreation across the province. Please play responsibly.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Taking a look at your sports ticker, Western Canadian Baseball League action. The Regina Red Sox are in swift current, taking on the 57s. First pitch goes out just after 7 o'clock tonight. Canadian Elite Basketball League, you got the Ottawa Blackjacks in Saskatoon taking on the Mamba, 7:30 tonight. The Jays are off today. They will be opening up a new set against the Red Sox in Boston tomorrow. Cease is expected to get the start for the Bluebirds. Carolina Hurricanes 2026 Stanley Cup champs. Back on the cup after 2 decades. And the Knicks, NBA champions. After 53 long years of waiting, they have finally climbed back to the top of the basketball world, capturing the 2026 NBA title with a hard-fought final win over the San Antonio Spurs, led by superstar performance from Jalen Brunson. Canada back on the pitch this Thursday as well. World Cup of Soccer taking on Qatar at 4 o'clock local time. Sportscage.com poll. Let us know what you think. How much of the Soccer's World Cup will you be watching? You can vote right now, sportscage.com. That is a look at your sports ticker, brought to you by the Reliance Group of Companies. Now, we started off the show with a conversation that was spurred on Saturday post-game following the Riders' victory over the BC Lions, and we had Wally from Regina call in asking, were you not entertained? Were you not entertained? Why are we making all of these rule changes? What is the point? What is the purpose? So if you missed that earlier, valid point by him, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say. You can join in the conversation. Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Wayne from Victoria says, I generally agree with what Stuart Johnston has done, especially the deal with DAZN, which brings in more money to the CFL. So just for clarification, DAZN will be getting 1 game a week, Saturday night, prime time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, it is a massive, massive broadcast deal because they're going to be working. Yeah, cha-ching is right, Curtis. So they're going to be working with not only DAZN, also TSN, so they still maintain a lot of their rights. And then YouTube is also going to be coming in, which I think is intriguing, especially in terms of CFL Combine coverage. I don't know, maybe we'll figure out the draft coverage somehow because the website has not been the best for that. But yeah, Wayne in Victoria generally agrees with what Stuart Johnston has been doing. Joseph in Regina says, never mind the smaller end zones, but with goalposts at the back, you lose all the exciting runbacks for touchdowns. About 15 last year. JJ in Regina. We were talking about this earlier. I believe Curtis actually brought this up is, well, if you make the changes, you can always go back. JJ in Regina says you can't unring a bell. It'll cost over $1 million to change the field dimensions in every stadium, not to mention U Sports and high school football, which U Sports not on the hook. for those financial costs to change their field. Quite frankly, I just think it's going to look a little bit different for U Sports. So he goes on to say, because a TV exec says, trust me, bro, it'll get better. It's reckless, and I'm angry with Craig Reynolds for not fighting to protect the integrity of our game. As the CEO of the community-owned team, he is playing a dangerous game and gambling with our game. What do you think? That was JJ in Regina's perspective. Let us know what you think. 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We got to hit the news here in a second. On the other side, Riders Coaches Show with MArc Mueller, offensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Hang tight. This is the home of Rider Nation on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Hi, it's Perry Nias. Somewhere out there, someone else is listening to CKRM, and they heard the same moments you did. That's what we've been for 100 years, a shared memory across Saskatchewan. And here's the fun part. When you share your memory, it might bring back someone else's, or surprise you both. So if CKRM was ever part of your life, we'd love to hear it. Leave us a voicemail at 306-546-6230. 620 CKRM. 100 years of memories, and still counting.
He's gaining on us. Quick, let's hide in the garage.
No. It's stuck. Again.
You said you fixed it.
I meant to. I just never called Busy Bee Doors.
Lift it. Hurry, lift it.
It won't budge. It's busted.
Don't let a broken garage door turn into a horror story. Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
What's a ring dang do? It's 3 days of incredible bluegrass and old-time music, great friends, late-night jam sessions, and memories that'll last all year long. Get ready for a magical musical ring dang do at the 20th Annual Northern Lights Bluegrass Festival, August 14th through 16th at Ness Creek, near Big River. Celebrate 20 years of bluegrass and old-time music with Virginia's new Floyd Country Ramblers, Saskatchewan favorite Jake Vaudeland, and outstanding performers from across Canada. Day, weekend, and group tickets are available now at northernlightsbluegrass.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
This is 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere in high-res audio with the CKRM app.
News is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. Call 781-2090.
Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. I'm Ryan Young from the SAS Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. A woman who says she was the victim of alleged harassment by a Regina police officer vowed to continue speaking for others who are too scared to come to the light.
We will continue to fight for justice, for accountability, for change, including organizational, structural change, and demand the Regina Police Board also take accountability.
The victim, who wished to remain anonymous, alleges Constable Clinton Duquette searched her in the RPS database multiple times a day. Duquette, who is facing charges of violating Saskatchewan's Local Authority Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, did not appear in court today. His next court date is July 20th. Threats made to Regina's International Airport caused a large police presence this afternoon. According to Regina Police, a call was made shortly before 1:30 p.m. regarding threats made to the airport. Upon arrival, police began looking into the threats. Currently, the threats appear to be unfounded by the RPS as the airport is returning to normal activities. Officers are still determining who exactly made the threats. The threat had originally been posted online by a YQR alert message, but the airport said the message was only intended for internal personnel. A Saskatchewan delegation is visiting Europe to promote trade, investment, and business opportunities across the province. Premier Scott Moe is leading the mission, which includes meetings in Belgium, the Czech Republic, France, and Poland. The province says Saskatchewan is well positioned to supply products such as uranium, potash, canola, and wheat to growing international markets. Moe pointed to a recent trade agreement signed with the Czech Republic.
First 3 months of this year, our exports to the Czech Republic are up 4,000%. Our imports from the Czech Republic are up 150%, just in the first 3 months of 2026. Not on a large volume of trade, but I think it speaks to the opportunity that we have with that particular nation.
Over the last 5 years, Saskatchewan exports to the European Union increased by nearly 138%, reaching $3.8 billion. Delegates will also take part in a major defense industry event in Paris. And Canadian Western Agribition will hold its 55th annual general meeting on June 17th in Regina. That's this coming Wednesday. The meeting takes place at 1 p.m. at the Turvey Centre and will also be live streamed. President Michael Latimer and CEO Sean Kindop will review highlights and financial results from 2025. They will also outline plans for this year's show. Members of the organization are expected to vote to elect the new board of directors for the 2026-27 term. And that's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Looking for a new career with a growing local company? Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling in Emerald Park are now hiring. They're currently in need of plumbers and sheet metal workers, from apprentices to journeymen. Competitive wages, plenty of work, family-style work environment. If you're ready for a new challenge, bring your resume to 2 Percival Drive in Emerald Park or call 781-2090. That's 781-2090.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. Partly sunny today with some spotty showers and a high of 21. Tonight, the wind is going to die down, clear up, and drop to plus 8 degrees. For tomorrow, cloudy afternoon showers and a high of 21. For Wednesday, some showers, possibly thunderstorms, and a high of 17. 17 degrees again on Thursday with possibly some rain. And then Friday, partly sunny and a high of 19.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Appreciate you taking the time for this Monday edition of the Sports Cage. My name is Teagan Witko. I'm joined here by Curtis Gammon. He's keeping us on the air on 620 CKRM, on the stream as well, either on YouTube, X, sportscage.com. Join in the conversation anytime. Even on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal directly with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Also still to come this afternoon, your clutch performer right around 4:30. Crofty going to be joining us. We'll see how his tailgating experience was at the Rider game. Your sprinkle of the day coming up, and then on the other side of 5 o'clock, we also have Darian Durant joining us as he does every Monday. And then your Regina Red Sox report ahead of their 7 o'clock game in Swift Current. But before all of that, don't want to keep our guests waiting any longer. Time for the Coaches Show.
It's time for the Sports Cage Riders Coaches Show. For Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, and servicing all of Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan Roughriders offensive coordinator MArc Mueller joining us. Thanks for taking the time, MArc.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's dive right in, because I got to get your opinion on this, man. Offense, 31 points, 400 passing yards, week number 2, first regular season game. How pleased were you with the way that your group executed coming off the offseason?
Yeah, I think the guys, their hard work over the past, ever amount of months, but especially since camp and since our last game versus Winnipeg when we had that long 21-day layoff, there could have been some chance to forget some things or get complacent. Usually urgency is what, kind of provides or breeds your want to get better. So, but I thought the guys played hard. I was pretty pleased with how we played. Obviously, we left some plays out there, and I'd like some play calls back. That's just like any game. But thought the guys played hard with great effort and intensity. And usually when we do that, we have pretty good results.
Trevor Harris putting those, age comments to bed there, completing 30 of 36 passes, 417 yards. Mark, what stood out to you most about his command of the offense in that regular season opener?
Yeah, I think it was just Trevor being the same guy that, I've got to know better and better each day since we got here in 2024. He's a guy who stands tall in the pocket, plays with great eye level and consistent eye level down the field, and, processes quicker or as quick as anybody in the game. So I think that when Trevor's back there, there's a lot of stuff that, he's seen over the years, and, he knows how to just react when he's playing the position instead of being thinking out there.
Well, and just surgical. I mean, it helps when you get a little extra time, right? So what did you see from your O-line? Because it did seem like he had a little bit more, opportunity to kind of read the field.
Yeah, I thought our offensive line played tough. They played really well. We got good players up there. And, they're going against a really good opponent. BC's a good football team, well coached, good talent, very accomplished defensive line, and I thought that our offensive line, played well against a tough opponent, and it's going to be no different this week in Calgary.
When it comes to reading the blitz, how well was Trevor seeing his keys?
Yeah, I thought when teams tried to get after Trevor a bit, some different looks there with BC there, and Trevor seemed to be looking in the right directions for some big plays. So that was good. And I think with Trevor, with the coverages that you can give him, there's not a whole bunch of stuff that's new to him, whether it was this year, last year, 2 weeks ago, 10 years ago, or whatever it is for Trevor. So he processes at an incredibly high level, and he keeps his eyes downfield. And I think that allows him to play at the high level that he is, expected to play.
He was making a lot of connections with KSB, but also with Samuel Emilus scoring 3 touchdowns. Keyshawn Johnson, also another favorite target. But, I mean, man, the receiving yards were impressive. How difficult does that make your offense to defend when you have just so many of those weapons at your disposal?
Well, I think it goes with that's just the level of the receiving core that we have. We have about 8 or 9 or maybe 10 or 11 guys that are here, and all of them are expected to play to this level when they're one of the 5 or 6 out there. And I think we got great players that do a great job of leading throughout the week. And those 3 guys you mentioned, they play and practice every play the same way, whether it's tomorrow at practice or it's in the third quarter of the game. So I think when you have that level of expectation and the way that you prepare, I think when you go out there, it's just second nature type thing to be in the spots that the quarterback expects you to be.
Sam Emilus, I mean, signing that contract in the offseason was huge. I know that felt like a Christmas present for a lot of Rider Nation. How have you seen his game grow and develop over the past year?
Yeah, I think Sam is a guy that will do anything that it takes to win, and he wants to do the tough work. Everyone sees the 3 touchdowns and the big plays, but it's the stuff that Sam does when he doesn't have the ball that is that impresses the room and the team. He's a complete player, and we're glad to have him in green and white.
On that game-winning drive, Trevor and Samuel connected back-to-back corner routes before the touchdown. Was that a matchup you felt that you could exploit late in the game, or what was your thought process?
Our thought process was just, try to have some calls that are, keep you moving down the field. And with Trevor, you can put a lot on his plate, and, because where that the ball's going to go in the places where, it should, and he's going to get you into the right looks. And just was really good between the two of them. They kind of have a sixth sense of how those guys are going to play off of each other. And it was a really nice route by Sam and obviously a great ball by Trevor and a great block by the offensive line and AJ.
One of the talking points after, that first regular season game was the offense started fast. Those first couple of drives were absolutely incredible. There was a bit of a lull in the middle stages, though. What did you see on film that led to that?
What led to it, the lull? I guess, just a couple times, that defense is a good defense. BC has good players, good coaches. Just, a couple things that just didn't go our way. And, came back off the sideline, great communication from the coaches to the players and the players to us. We lean on those guys. They're the ones that are out there. They see it through the correct vantage point of their eyes. And, made a couple, slight adjustments of what we thought we could do. And, they turned out to be good moves for us.
So the passing game, obviously outstanding. We talked about the stats already. The run game never quite found its rhythm on Saturday. How important is it for you to, get that aspect of the offense going as the season progresses?
Yeah, I think, anytime you can be in that, 70-plus yard range, you're probably going to, on 15 to 17 carries, it's probably going to be usually a pretty good day. But, with AJ, we expect that, we can get him going a little bit more. So I think that it's been a big part of our offense since we got here to, help those guys up front and move the ball along the line of scrimmage. And, you got a running back that will get the best of it every play. He's an elite protector, and he's an elite, efficient run guy with AJ, and we have the most confidence in him and Tomas to get us in the most yards of every play we can get.
So the banner raising on Saturday. How challenging is it for a championship team to strike a balance between appreciating what's been accomplished, but also staying hungry and, winning that next game? You guys talk a lot about 1-0 every week, right? How is that mental focus needed to be shifted?
I think this group has done a great job, since I've been lucky to be a part of it here in 2024, of having that narrow mind focus of, going 1-0, whether it's in that week or that day. And that's, I think, been the most evident at a couple times. Was obviously last year, everyone talked about it, but 2024, when we went 7 weeks without winning, we went 0-6-1 in that tie in Ottawa, and the guys came to work the same every single day, and they worked the same every single day, and we continued to work to get better, knowing that, eventually the bounces maybe go our way if we, we keep doing things the right way. And I think during camp, I think a lot of the guys have just been kind of ready to move on, and then get ready to go. We had our fun, we had a good time, it was a great year, but it's on to, being the best we can that day, and it was nice to get back on the field, and especially with that long layoff, and get back to it, some normalcy and some rhythm, and, we get to go back to practice tomorrow now, which is good.
Practicing what you preach, Mark, because I know I was on those sidelines and I saw quite a few players getting antsy after the banner unveil. As much as they appreciated it, they just wanted to get to work.
Yeah, it's time to play. We had waited long enough, 21 days in between, we were ready to go.
So what excites you most about the ceiling of this offense? After seeing what you were able to accomplish and, the incredible play calling, obviously you got a win out of it. What excites you most about this offense and what's to come this season?
Yeah, I think what excites me about it is that we have good players, and I think that we have high expectations of whoever puts on the jersey and gets to go out there and represent the Riders. And the guys work really hard. They make it easy to come to work and be a part of. And those guys are very vocal. They speak up and they talk about, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? And the best coaching advice I ever got as a coach when I was with Rich Stubler is that it really doesn't matter what we know as coaches or what we think, it's the players that are doing it. So we lean on those guys all the time, whether it's Trevor or any of those receivers you mentioned or the offensive line or the running backs. That if they think it's it'll make us better and help, usually they're correct. So we got great communication between the whole group, and I just look forward to getting better at practice tomorrow with them and then building for a really tough game versus Calgary on Saturday night.
What's the part of your offensive game you want to clean up the most?
Well, there's a bit of everything. There's a couple times on second down we got off the field, but I think that there's a little bits of, like you said, whether it's first down run game or second down, or we have to all get better, because if we stay the same way we are right now, this week won't be good enough. So I think we got to continue to improve, and a great tough opponent in Calgary. I know they got a good defense, and they're very well coached as well with good players. So we just got to continue to get better and take advantage of these next 4 days, and go to Calgary and with a mindset to go 1-0.
Without showing your cards, what's your biggest focus? This is a team where the Riders didn't have much success. They went 0-2 against the Stampeders last season. Is it more of a mental hurdle?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, they're a good team, and it's good to get back out there. Go to McMahon, and there's usually lots of Rider fans there, which is nice. But I know they got good players, and they're getting a couple back on the D-line, and, Flo's probably back, and some good players like that. And, they got, they're well coached. Bob Slowick does a great job with that defense. I got the pleasure to work with them in Calgary for a couple of years. So I know they'll be ready to go, and they'll be good at what they do, and they'll have some wrinkles just like every defense does on game day. And we're looking forward to it. That's the best part of the game.
Final and most important question. Mark Mueller, offensive coordinator of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I know you were a little bit busy on Saturday. Did you have a chance to walk through the tailgating area at all?
No, I didn't. I saw a couple guys on the way there, but I heard it was awesome. Every one of my friends that went, they loved it, and I think it's great. I think it's a cool thing, and if I was wasn't coaching, I'm sure I'd be in there with a couple, Molson, couple of my Molson buddies. We'd be in there having a couple Pilsners or Coors Lights. So, if I ever happens that I can be in there, I will be. But hopefully for a while, I still get to coach on game day.
Well, save him a Pilsner for maybe post-game next time we are back here in Regina. No, Marc Mueller, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Marc Mueller, offensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, of course, joining us on the Coaches Show. We do this every single Monday throughout the season, and it is brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, servicing all of Saskatchewan. If you want to join in the conversation, I should mention, by the way, he was also joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. I could go for some pizza. When we were up in Saskatoon, Curtis, you ordered me some food because we forgot to eat. I might get Curtis to order us some pizza to the Sportscage studio here on the corner of 12th and Rose. I could always go for a nice little wheel, I don't know what our favorite pizza is there. So I guess we just got to eat our way through the menu.
I always think I always think of the number 2 because
that's what Dave likes.
Dave orders it every time.
I have different taste buds.
All right. Well, you let me know what you like.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm also like a 4-year-old child where I just like a good classic cheese pizza. You're judging me so hard right now.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just cheese, really.
Just cheese. It doesn't need to be fancy. If you have good sauce, good cheese, good crust, what more do you need?
Toppings.
Western pizza does have some pretty good toppings, but you just if it isn't broke, don't fix it. That's what a lot of people are saying about the CFL rule changes on our Prairie Land Rentals text line right now. So maybe we'll get to some of those in a little bit. We should probably dive deeper into that.
Yes.
Also, Speaking of texting, Monsters and Mayhem VIP prize contest. You can't win this, Curtis. I'm so sorry. But we do have a pretty wicked prize here. It's Monsters and Mayhem, July 17th to 19th, Kings Park Speedway. We have 4 tickets and a ride in a monster truck. Have you seen how tall those things are? If you have a fear of heights, maybe not the best option.
I haven't seen a monster truck in person in quite some time, but yeah, they're quite tall. You get to ride in it, though.
You get to ride in it.
Right? You see, that's exciting. That's not just seeing them.
No.
You get to live it. You get to go right in there.
Up close and personal.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Monsters and Mayhem. Get a ride for 4 tickets. Pretty sick.
And what do you got to do?
Text in the word monsters. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. That's all you have to do. Just the word monsters, and then we'll get you into the draw here, which we're going to be making on Friday when Barney's back on the Sportscage. So suck up to Barney. I'm not sure if he's actually making the draw, but that's when we're going to be announcing the winner. Probably going to happen in the morning, but it's fine. You can still suck up to him. It's fine. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. We did get a text message in here. This whole conversation was started from Wally in Regina during the post-game show on Saturday after the Riders beat the BC Lions at Mosaic Stadium. And he brought up the fact that maybe we don't need to change the rules because all the games this week were highly entertaining. Don Morrison texted, a wise woman told me years ago that if you're not growing, you're dying. The CFL needs to change in order to grow the game. And here's the thing. I understand that to a certain degree. From what we understand, now, not all the numbers are official, and it's really hard to find the exact financials, but from what we understand, most teams in the CFL, and it's a 9-team league, the vast majority of them have not turned a profit in the past couple of seasons. How do you make more of that money? You increase viewership, which is probably where this TV deal comes into play. You got YouTube on board now. You have DAZN on board now. So yeah, if you want to grow the game, if you want it to be sustainable, and if you want to maybe introduce that 10th team, you need to have more eyes on the product.
Yes. And then the one thing about having a big broadcasting deal too, and having like a really good starting spot to be profitable, is now you can start making decisions that are beneficial for the league because you have that starting kind of like little bit of I'm not sure what word I'm looking for here, but you have a little bit of money to start, so you're not really chasing your tail trying to be profitable. You can use some of that money to make decisions that will help and increase and grow the league.
They're also not telling us how much that TV deal was worth. I mean, we know there's speculation. There are reports of how much it is, but no one's confirming that. And, even our partners at 3 Down Nation have tried to ask Stuart Johnston that outright, and he refuses to specify exactly how much money is coming from this TV broadcast deal. But you have to imagine it's more than just TSN. Otherwise, they would have just went back to that singular broadcast rights holder.
Mm-hmm. When we initially had Arash on, I think he had like an approximate amount. But yes, not confirmed by any means.
The league is not confirming it.
Yes. Yeah. Approximately 500 million is what Arash said. I'm just double checking myself here, though.
Just to confirm?
Yeah, I don't want to misquote him.
No, that's totally understandable. I mean, even here on the YouTube stream, if you're watching sportscage.com, YouTube, or our X account, there was someone here, Marauder, said the other outcome of all these changes is that people are talking about the CFL. Obviously, there's interest internationally. We will see a nice gap in football between May and November, which makes a lot of sense. Very valid point. What do you think? Let us know. 306-936-6262. You can join the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. And, just to create some balance here, Perry also messaging in from Regina saying, scrap the changes. Don't like them. And you're allowed to have that opinion. I mean, we're not the ones that are making the changes. We're just here talking about them.
Yeah, but I guess until you actually do it, then you can always reserve the right to pull the pin, I suppose.
But going back is going to be so hard. After all the financials, all the money that's spent.
All the logistics that are currently in process.
All of the fans that you potentially have ticked off. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that they're going to lose a ton of viewers, but I could be wrong in that. You never know. People could be a lot of talk. Or maybe they will actually boycott the league. I really hope that's not the case, because there's something special about CFL football.
Yeah, a little bit of a hot take, but to a lot of the people out there that are saying like, oh yeah, if I have to spend $15 for another subscription to watch CFL football, I don't really think that's the people that the league wants supporting anymore. You know what I mean? Like
that is kind of a hot take. I'm ready for this text line to blow up.
Yeah, it's. If you don't support the league, that's fine. You're welcome to do whatever you want with your own money. And if that means like maybe a person only goes to one game a year, sure. Or you don't necessarily have to be a season ticket holder. And you don't necessarily have to buy the TSN Plus subscription, or you don't have to buy the DAZN subscription.
We also cover the games for free.
Yes, exactly. There are outlets out there. You can watch our stream. We stream every Roughrider game. We don't do every other team in the league, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Maybe one day, Teagan. We're growing.
Yeah. We're working on it, okay? One team at a time.
But yeah, there's options out there that are free. And
And the other thing is they haven't even announced if there will be a specific Saturday night CFL streaming package. It doesn't sound like it's completely off the table. What if it's $5 a week for you to watch that one primetime Saturday night game?
You would like to think so, hey?
Is that the straw that will break the camel's back for a lot of CFL fans? Is it the idea or just the concept of needing to shell out that additional money? And it doesn't matter how much the monetary cost is? Is it just the concept of it?
Yeah. If it's $5 that breaks the camel's back, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think anything would have broke the camel's back at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think people are usually just a little bit more adverse to change until they see it. Like you mentioned earlier, we don't know what this is going to look like yet with the rule changes. We need to see it to really form an educated opinion on it.
Yeah, nothing's definitive currently. And that's the thing. When you're talking about change, no one likes to talk about change about anything. Like, they did changes to downtown parking here where they made it on the app. You can't pay on the...
No one got upset about that, Curtis.
No. So no one is ever going to 100% agree with any kind of change ever, period. But
And people have valid concerns about it. I completely understand that. I mean, Scott and Regina here saying that Scott's looking forward to the changes.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. What do you think? Are you with Wally? Wally for commissioner?
Wally.
That's what started this whole conversation. He opened up the can of worms on Saturday, okay? We're just following up on it because I'm curious to see what other people are thinking now that we're 2 weeks into the CFL season. Are you not entertained?
It's been a little bit, and I unfortunately didn't hit an important button last time, so I didn't go to the to the YouTube stream. Would you like to hear Wally's comments again, just to freshen it up?
Let's go.
All right.
Just to quote Maximus from the movie Gladiator, were you not entertained? And that message goes to our commissioner, who wants to change a whole bunch of dimensions on the field, change a bunch of rules, Americanize our game, I guess, because people that will watch it wouldn't be able to be intelligent enough to make a little bit of a leap from NFL-style football that they're probably used to CFL with a few nuances. So that message goes to Stuart Johnson. And the reason I say that is there's a couple touchdowns. You reduce those end zones, they're not touchdowns tonight.
So what do you think? Wally for commissioner, or do you disagree? You're entitled to your opinion. We just want to hear them, okay? Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Curtis, we should probably take a quick break and come back with our clutch performers.
We shall.
Okay.
We shall.
We'll be back. This is the Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskatchewan Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at SaskagToday.com. Saskag Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
Karen explains why she is comfortable investing her money with Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
I don't have to worry about it. Once I do it, I know it's looked after, and I have seen good success as well in our investment. He's very knowledgeable, he's very trustworthy, and he wants the best for his clients.
Don't guess with your money. Call Brian at 306-546-2533. SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but warmer weather has them thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Clutch performer for Keln Solar. You got to give a quick shout out here, even if you're not much of a basketball fan, to the Knicks winning the NBA final. 53-year drought comes to an end. I also needed to mention that right off the hop because right before the start of the playoffs in the NBA, I might have sprinkled a little bit. Might have won a little bit of coin. It was a decent investment. I know I was waiting. There it is. There's the cha-ching. Wasn't a lot because I'm terrible at sprinkling. Anyway, after a 20-year drought, Carolina Hurricanes come out victorious. Yes, Stanley Cup champions as of last night. And I gotta say, There's so many storylines with this team that just makes you appreciate, oh yeah, Svechnikov doing a little, I don't know what you call that, confetti angel. But I also want to give a shout out, rookie goaltender Brandon Bussey, he was the story in net. He was stopping all 22 shots that he faced to earn a shutout in one of the biggest games of his career, and might be the biggest game of his career, period. And he was taking over that starting job late in the playoffs. Now Bussey delivered under pressure, never looked back. It was so cool to see his parents in the stands getting super emotional throughout the back half of this Stanley Cup final series. Undrafted, by the way, Brandon Bussey. 111 AHL games. NHL debut at the age of 27. He is now a Stanley Cup champion. And I think that's just one of those, as cheesy as it sounds, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, don't give up on your dreams. You can be like Bussey, right? Be like Brandon Bussey. Now, with the win, we also need to talk about their head coach, Rod Brind'Amour. He completed such a remarkable full circle moment. He won the Cup in 2006 as a player, and now again in 2026 behind the bench. And man, I said it off the front of the show, Buddy looks like he could play next season. He's keeping himself in top peak physical form. The way that he was hoisting that cup over his head, he's ripping off the tarp. He's having so much fun in that tarped off locker room. And you know what, man? He deserves it. That was a 20-year drought for the Hurricanes, and it was really cool to see him back behind the bench to win that Stanley Cup. His name will forever be enshrined on the cup yet again. You also got to give it up for, Freddie Anderson. I know I was giving a shout out to the other goaltender, but I mean, as a former Leaf, you got to give Freddie a little bit of love here at 36 years old. His name will now also be etched into the cup. Taylor Hall, at the age of 34, finally Stanley Cup champions. Seth Jarvis. I mean, there's so many good storylines. And then, of course, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner in Jordan Staal. That was his second Stanley Cup in 17 years. 17 years after his first, pardon me. So that's the longest gap in NHL history. And he pulled it off. That beard is also glorious, if I may just say so myself. We got a little clip from Staal?
This is the clip. Give me 1 second. Well, I'll re-wrap it.
That's a lot of years. I mean, it's amazing. It's just something I've been going after ever since we got the first one. I mean, you want to win it again and again and again, and what a feeling, what a battle the boys were grinding today. My goodness, what so many individual efforts just to keep the puck out of our net, and it was an amazing ride, and I'm just so proud of these guys.
That is a pretty cool moment for Jordan Staal, and especially with his, brothers and his family members and everybody coming out onto the ice to celebrate with him. It's just such a cool story. The confetti angels that we saw from Svechnikov earlier. I mean, he is one of the core 5 players who have been there since the beginning with Rod Brind'Amour, and they have all the scars. I mean, he's been battling injuries. It was a long road back, and finally they did it. Finally, they pulled it off. So just so many cool storylines from that Hurricanes win. Again, I would have been happy either way. I would have liked to see the Vegas Golden Knights.
One of my personal favorites, I saw this is basically like a really weird unbreakable stat, but it's shared between Jordan Staal and Eric Staal, which is the longest gap between Stanley Cup final goals in NHL history. So June 9th, 2009, Jordan Staal scored with the Penguins, and then 6,202 days later, June 2nd, 2026, he scores one. So 6,000 days between NHL final goals. And then the previous record holder was his brother Eric Staal at 6,198 days, when June 14th, 2006 with the Canes, and then June 3rd, 2023 with the Panthers.
Jeez.
So those are really, it's like an unbreakable record, because you have to have like a very long career, and then also early in your career go to the Stanley Cup final and score, and then near the tail end of your career do the same.
I don't know what runs in that Staal blood, but whatever it is, it's championship caliber, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Carolina, they wasted no time setting the tone. Taylor Hall opened up the scoring early in that first period, giving the Hurricanes a lead that they just would not give up. which was so cool to see. From there, it was a defensive masterclass, if you will. Brandon Bussey, he was the big story, as I mentioned, stopping all 22 shots he faced, earning a shutout, and one of the biggest games of his career. Since taking over that starting job from Freddie, he delivered under pressure and just never looked back. He was fun to watch. That might have been my favorite storyline. Second period, Jackson Blake extended the lead, finishing off a strong passing play to make it 2-0, put Carolina firmly in control. And then the Hurricanes' structure, speed, discipline just smothered Vegas, which was really, really nice for Carolina fans anyway. Golden Knights, they did push a little bit, but they couldn't figure out Bussey. And then obviously the final there, Ehlers got the empty net goal, and he was spending some time actually giving a shout out to Winnipeg and the Jets. So that was kind of cool to see post game. I think he was talking with Sportsnet, and he kind of gave them a little bit of a shout out there. But he got the empty netter to make it 3-0, officially end it with the win. Rod Brindamore completes that remarkable first full circle moment, it was as we were talking about, and then Stahl, legacy defining chapter, leading Carolina throughout the postseason to win that Conn Smythe honor as the MVP. For Vegas, the season obviously ends in disappointment on home ice, falling just short of their second Stanley Cup, but a lot of people don't feel bad for them because, I mean, they're such a new franchise. But you did see them stick around for that handshake line, which I love the fact that we still do this in the NHL. The fact that they still, like, despite all of the emotions, all of the heartbreak, they're still standing there, head held high, ready to shake those hands.
That's a classy thing to do. Sportsmanship.
Well, and the thing is, it's always a story if a team doesn't go out and do that. It's never really a story when they just do it because it's expected. That's why we love hockey, though.
When's the last time that, like, you can recall where a team didn't do the handshake line after losing a series?
In the NHL? Oh, boy. Wasn't there one last season?
I don't recall.
I might need to fact check that. It doesn't happen very often, but you best believe when it does happen, people are talking about it. Because it's good sportsmanship, right? That's what you have to do. That is the expectation. You got to go out, you got to shake hands with, your opponent, especially when you're grinding it out in the Stanley Cup playoffs and you make it, 6 games in this series as an example. I mean, you've been playing against these guys as much as you hate each other on the ice once that puck drops. You still have to have respect for your opponent. Did you find the last time?
There's a few weird ones. They say most recently fall in the Stanley Cup final between Edmonton and Florida. Both teams participated in the handshake line. Oilers forward Evander Kane skipped it entirely. Late game misconduct penalty and ejection. And then
I remember that.
There's another one, 2009, following the Pittsburgh Penguins Game 7 victory. Their captain, Sidney Crosby, left the ice to celebrate with his teammates before shaking hands with the Detroit Red Wings, sparking minor controversy as several Detroit veterans waited in vain.
But he came back out. Did he not?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
So probably the last time someone genuinely skipped it, but was 2009, if this is correct here from the old Google machine.
Yeah, because the internet's always right, Chris.
Yeah, but it's not even it's like a whole team misses a handshake. It's
very
just Sidney
rare.
Crosby.
Yeah, it's very rare that that happens. Again, because it's just an expectation. But
yeah,
cool to see. Anyway, that was, I guess the whole team for Carolina is my clutch performer. I do have one more here on a local level. One more clutch performer. Former University of Saskatchewan Huskies assistant coach Christine Bumstead was promoted to the head coach of the PWHL Seattle Torrent. Woo! Yeah, she stepped into the top role after serving as the team's assistant coach during their inaugural season. So, way to go, Saskatchewan's own. That's really cool. Christine Bumstead, another one of your clutch performers for today.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice indeed.
Anything to add, or did I cover most of it?
I think you covered most of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to go long on my clutch performers, apparently. If you have one to share with us, Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Always happy to give some shout outs. Your clutch performer is brought to you by Kelton Solar in Lumsden. You know they can help you with your livestock operations. Book now Get your solar quotes for your home, your farm, or your cabin. Save money with the local company Keln Solar in Lumsden. Also, a reminder to grab those 50/50s before each Rider game. New early bird prize to be won every single game. So this week, this one's pretty sweet, actually. If you buy before Thursday at 10 o'clock, you are eligible for this great little Kananaskis Nordic Spa getaway for 2. The package includes 2 nights at the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge and 1 day hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy? Oh, my.
Have you ever tried hydrotherapy?
No. No, I have not. Hydrotherapy. I feel like I need to, Google it.
Is that where you're in the completely quiet little capsule thing with the water? Or no? No?
The hydrotherapy I'm seeing is obviously rehab stuff. I'm trying to think here.
Okay, well, you look into that. I should also mention, if you don't want to take that Kananaskis getaway, which I don't know why you wouldn't, you can also just take the money. $2,700 in cash if you want to grab those tickets. Again, you want to be in on the early bird prize, you got to grab them before 10 o'clock on Thursday. 306-936-6262. If you want to text us, we can send you the link, riders5050.ca, if you want to just go directly to the source. But hey, I'm here to help you out.
Yeah,
That's what we're here for.
Another Google search. It looks kind of like a massage chamber, kind of, almost. I don't know if you're 100% covered, but looks cool.
Okay.
Looks cool.
Okay. Well, I might need to look into that. If you want to win it, riders5050.ca. Plus, as I mentioned, the Prairie Land Rentals text line, join in the conversation and pick the score for this upcoming Saturday's game against the Calgary Stampeders. Chance to win $200 SaskTel gift card and tickets to the next Rider home game. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262 is where you can send in those predictions. We already have a few coming in here, actually. So, yeah, if you want to let us know what you think, totally fine. Do that now. Get in early, because you're going to forget later this week, and then we're going to make the draw, and then you're going to be upset. Sorry, I'm giving you a heads up right now. I think we should probably take a quick break, because we still have or do you want to do sprinkle of the day now?
I want to sprinkle right now.
You want to
Teagan.
sprinkle? Okay, let's sprinkle.
I want to sprinkle right now. Speaking of picking the score for CFL games, I see here on Sports Select, we have the lines for Toronto versus Ottawa and Montreal versus Edmonton, and of course, the Riders versus Stampeders.
Okay, you're taking this in a different direction than what I was thinking, but I like it. Okay. What are we thinking here? The lines for Owls and Elk. Yes, it's Elk. Okay, so we got 525 for the over-under, or 52, pardon me, 52.5 for the over-under. You got Montreal is the favorite, which is not overly surprising, by 4. And then, let's see here, Pro Line, 175. I would be inclined to take the under.
The under.
This Owls and Elk game.
You think so?
I think so.
Low scoring affair, hey?
It's really tough to say with that one.
Yeah. Here,
I think I would still take the under on it, though. Just based on... but then again, when you look at what Montreal put up this last week.
Yeah, Montreal put up a lot, and then also consider what Edmonton put up. So Edmonton went 29-21 against Ottawa.
And then Montreal was 37-30 against Toronto.
And then against a good team like Hamilton, they still put up 30 points. So
okay, you might have convinced me to take the over.
Yeah, because if their week 1 scores end up being similar kind of score out here, it would be 59 points for the game. So I would probably say over. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might want to take the over on that bad boy. And again, point spread 4. Yeah. I don't know if I'd take that action. I don't think I'm taking that action.
I'm not taking that action.
Scroll down a little bit. Let's look at the Riders and Stamps. So on the Pro Line, 225, we got point spread. Oh, just 1. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Over under 49.5. I'm taking the under on that one, I think.
Under.
It also depends what's the weather going to be. We're too early to really determine that, I think. By the way, Sports Select, if you want to get in on more of the sports action It's easy. Go to sportselect.com. If you're watching the stream, that's where we're at right now. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR codes, and lock in your bet at your local lotto spot retailer. You can go in, fill out the paper, old-fashioned way. Every bet is 100% legal with a chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. But you got to be 18 plus, and you got to play responsibly. Also, really quick, can you slide on over to the futures? Because there are futures on sportselect.com. So if you go to the top futures, you can bet on everything from Super Bowl to NCAA to soccer to NASCAR, World Cup. I wanted to specifically look at CFL regular season, and I want to take a peek at the odds for most outstanding player. I know we're only heading into week 3. I'm just curious.
Nathan Rourke is the current favorite.
Why am I not surprised? 380 on Nathan Rourke, best odds. Then you got Davis Alexander behind him. Trevor Harris in third with 725.
There might be some value in that. I mean, considering how he played last game here, he had over an 80% completion rate. Let me get the actual stats here.
Are we still sleeping on Chad Kelly a little bit?
Yeah, Chad Kelly actually looks pretty good. When that Toronto-Montreal game, that was the one thing that I was looking at in particular, because that was the biggest question mark for sure. He hadn't played a meaningful snap of football since that 2024 East Final, when we all know how that happened.
Oh, yeah, we're not playing that on the stream, that's for sure.
Nope.
I just wonder if, because he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on the list as potential most outstanding player in 2026. 17 are the odds.
Yeah. I personally think if Chad Kelly's healthy and Davis Alexander both have a healthy season, I still pick Davis Alexander over Chad Kelly, though. Personally. I mean, the value here for this future right here, Davis Alexander's 4.5. 4.5 is where they set the odds at. So, considering he's kind of had the hamstring issue last year, and if it flares up, he's not winning MOP. So, I personally don't think I would sprinkle there.
You don't think?
Seems like a long shot for okay odds.
Yeah, it doesn't quite seem worth it.
But yeah, if he does have a healthy season, Davis Alexander.
Yeah. He could be
I could see him winning MOP pretty easily.
I mean, but that's always the caveat when you look at this early in the season, right? We're heading into week 3. Everyone, for the most part, is healthy. Oh, okay. Everyone is healthy for the most part right now. So, I mean, the odds are going to be shifting substantially, but I would still take a little bit of action. I would still sprinkle a little bit on Trevor Harris right now.
Yeah, I think Trevor Harris is definitely where the value is at currently.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
But same kind of caveat, too. Yeah. It's got to be healthy.
Well, as long as the O-line can keep him upright.
Very good.
They seem to do a good job this weekend, so...
We'll
see. So that's a look at your sprinkle of the day. We had multiple sprinkles, but that's okay.
We're sprinkling a ton.
Yeah, well... You got to take a look at the odds, right? Got to have a little bit of fun.
What would the term be instead of a sprinkle? Just a shower of the day?
A shower of the day? Oh, I hope you're showering every day.
Live on the stream. Oh, man.
Join in the conversation with us anytime, 306-936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Lots coming in here based on Wally, his comments post-game on Saturday talking about how entertaining this past week of football has been and how he doesn't feel the need for any rule changes in 2027. Let us know what you think. Also, just going back real quick to when we were talking about, the camaraderie in the NFL after the Las Vegas Golden Knights lost in the Stanley Cup final, and just being able to go, shake hands with the other team. It's just been a tradition in hockey forever. And James makes a fine point here. Teagan, these guys are happy to shake hands after a tough loss, wake up the next day and check their bank accounts. All is well in a few days. Yeah, because they're going to be golfing and drying their tears with $100 bills. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
To celebrate CKRM's 100th anniversary, we're honoring the icons who helped shape this station into what it is today. Our next 620 CKRM icon inductee, Perry Nias. Here's a behind the mic moment with Perry Nias.
I always love putting people on the air. And again, this is not what I'm going to do for a living, Brad. I'm still living in that mode in my mind. So what the heck? Let's put them on. When we did talk shows, we'd use the delay. So you'd have 7 minutes if there was a problem, but not then. Pop them on. Somebody's, I don't know, at the bakery all night or doing whatever. And I really, really loved it. And I really think the ability to do those type of shows allowed you to become a far better broadcaster.
To hear the full extended interview, visit our 100th year page at 620ckrm.com or sastoday.ca.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but warmer weather has them thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community-focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
Get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
You just played 4 quarters of football. You got hit by guys built like farm equipment. And now you're thinking about a little celery stick and a protein shake? Come on, this is a job for Western Pizza. Load up with pepperoni, ham, bacon, melty cheese, maybe some ribs, lasagna, or souvlaki on the side. You put in the work, now eat like you mean it.
And get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
Welcome back to Sportscage. Check out our podcast powered by Freeze Tolman. Available anytime, anywhere at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Yes, welcome back to the Sports Cage, 620 CKRM on your radio, streaming at sportscage.com, our X and our YouTube chat as well. You can join in the conversation there. We did get a text on the Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. We missed a clutch performer. Curtis, I'm so sorry. This one coming from Johnny O, Winnipeg's #1 Rider fan. Trevor Harris cleaned up on the BC Lions defense on Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. So yeah, that was a good one. If you got more for us, you can always share them.
I got the stats. 417 passing yards, 83.3% completion, and 3 tutties. Woo!
Yeah, he looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. You know what? Also, we got to jump out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and catch up with our next guest. This is the one, the only Crofty, Dan Croft of Croft Electric. I heard you were tailgating over the weekend.
We were. We had our Croft Electric tailgate set up. It was wonderful. It really was.
So you were one of the many people who actually left their space clean, I assume.
Yeah, and we actually left the van there overnight. We kind of had that as a plan so we could get a safe ride home. Next morning went and picked it up. Everything was nice and neat and tidy. About a half dozen vehicles had done the same thing. It was awesome. It was really between the riders and Real, they nailed it. We had some questions, and of course, first time we were unsure how everything was going to roll, but it was smooth. We drove right in, they parked us, and we were set up in 15, 20 minutes, and had the barbecue rolling. So it was awesome.
It looked so cool and smelled even better when I rolled up for the game on Saturday afternoon. I missed your spot, though, but if we hypothetically have some people who are coming to the next Rider home game, can they swing by and say hello to you in the tailgate area?
For sure. Dave stopped by. We saw him, and Barney stopped by, too. We had a few of those guys in there. But, yeah, we have a big blue and orange tent where we're pretty hard to miss, in a big white Croft Electric van that we're using for a tailgate van to just kind of store everything and keep everything secure after and before. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the next one. And we kind of took it easy. No, I shouldn't say took it easy. We took it pretty simple on the food this last time. We might step it up a little bit as the season goes on. So,
I'll be looking forward to the smoked brisket.
There we go. Yeah, that might be a Labor Day thing when you want to get there 5 hours, or maybe even everybody will be sneaking in 6 hours early on that day.
Well, we're into the busy time of year, Dan Croft of Croft Electric, and I'm just curious. I know you have this preferred customer program. Is it filled up, or is there still space on there?
It will never fill up. We want all of our customers to be preferred customers, and then we can serve everybody as fast and with priority as possible. That sounds impossible as I said it out loud, but we will make it happen.
I love that. You guys are so good on social media. You got your Tip Tuesdays. You also do more than just residential work. Isn't that right?
For sure. We have 4 highly trained service crews that do everything between, your basic residential plug, light, fix or change, right up to water treatment plants and farms and cabins and everything between. So we're happy to help anybody out that needs us. I always say we got 35 staff here. Somebody has seen your problem before, so we'll have somebody that'll be able to help you out no matter what it is.
Well, their motto is do it right, do it once for a reason. You're best in the biz. So how do we get in touch with you, Dan?
Well, like you said, follow us on those socials for promotions and Tip Tuesdays and Friday Funnies. Our website, it's getting a little bit of a refresh right now, but it is still up at www.croftelectric.com. And then, of course, the best and easiest way for, normal business hours is give us a call at 306-586-1333.
Dan Croft, Crofty, always good to catch up with you. We'll do this again next week.
You bet. Have a great Monday evening.
You too. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Coming up next, we do have Darian Durant on the other side of your 5 o'clock news, so hang tight. It's the Sportscage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Maybe I should compare hail insurance this year.
Palliser.
Yeah, but, different coverage, deductibles. Maybe shop around.
Palliser.
You don't overthink it, do you?
No.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Insurance. Call your trusted agent today or buy online at your convenience. Visit PalliserInsurance.com. Anywhere, anytime.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
For 70 years, Freeze Tallman has been more than a building supplier. It's been part of the community. Family owned since 1956, Freeze Tallman is proud to grow alongside the families, builders, and businesses they serve. This milestone is about more than time. It's about trust, hard work, and relationships built to last. Thank you for being part of the Freeze Tallman story. Visit freezetallman.com. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the Price Match Guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Western Canadian Baseball League action tonight. The Regina Red Sox traveling to Swift Current to take on the 57s, and first pitch goes out just after 7 o'clock. Canadian Elite Basketball League got the regular season underway now with the Ottawa Blackjacks in Saskatoon to face the Mambas. At 7:30 is when tip-off will take place. Jay's off today, but they open up a brand new set against the Red Sox in Boston tomorrow. Cease expected to head to the bump for the Bluebirds. And of course, Carolina Hurricanes are your 2026 Stanley Cup champions, back on top after 20 years, and the Knicks winning the NBA championship over the weekend as well. Sportscage.com poll, how much of soccer's World Cup will you be watching? You can let us know by voting at sportscage.com. That's a look at your sports ticker for Extreme Hockey.
We are 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
News is brought to you by Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Call 306-332-6711.
Good afternoon. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Ryan Young from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News. A woman who says she was victimized by Regina Police Service Constable Clinton Duquette slammed the police service for being soft on disciplining the officer. Duquette is accused of using the RPS database to snoop on people. An investigation done by the Office of the Information and Privacy Commission found Duquette utilized the database on 6 people 57 times over 3 years. Following that investigation, Duquette was suspended by RPS for 1 day with pay. The victim, who wished to remain anonymous, called the previous action taken by police a joke.
It's not a deterrent, it's not a suspension. Really, it's not any punishment, it's a joke. And that right there shows that they strategically did that so that if we were to pursue anything further, that they are saying, well, now he's already received punishment, he can't receive anything further.
Police Chief Laura Lee Davies assured that any members found to have improperly accessed police databases will face steeper punishment. Duquette did not show up for his first court appearance today, and the matter is being adjourned to July 20th. A large police presence was at the Regina Airport this afternoon regarding a reported threat made towards the airport. CEO of the Regina Airport Authority, James Bogus, says Regina Police notified them of the threat around 1:30 p.m.
And now, as a matter of protocol, we do an internal notification to our staff members as to the nature of what the potential is, and also some information in case we have to stand up what's called our Emergency Operations Center. The threat was deemed quite quickly non-credible by the police, and that essentially means that it's business as usual at the airport.
But the internal notification was only meant for employees at the airport, as it mistakenly got posted online. Bogus says they posted a follow-up on social media platform X, reassuring people coming to the airport that operations are normal and the threat is not real. Premier Scott Moe says Saskatchewan's public safety agency must improve after an independent review identified shortcomings in its response to the province's devastating 2025 wildfire season. The report found the agency operated in silos, creating uncertainty about roles and responsibilities, and cited gaps in planning, hiring, training, and equipment procurement. Moe says both the agency and the provincial government can do more to strengthen wildfire preparedness. The 2025 wildfires forced more than 10,000 people from their homes and burned about 29,000 square kilometers of northern forest. The Explore Sask photo contest is now open, inviting people to share images and video from around Saskatchewan. Tourism Saskatchewan says both amateur and professional creators can enter. Submissions should highlight landscapes, wildlife, communities, and daily life across the province. The contest ends September 15th, with cash gift cards awarded in each category. Video entries can be up to 60 seconds long. Details are available online. And that's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
And now your summer savings report for Crestview Chrysler in Regina. Current conditions include no-charge diesels on select Ram trucks, kicking off a powerful month of savings here in Regina, and adventure seekers can get into a brand new Jeep Cherokee with payments starting at just $279 bi-weekly plus tax. Forecast models are calling for heavy discounts, low finance rates, and serious trade values, all expected to continue throughout the entire month. This has been your summer savings report for Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Regina.
Now this is technology. Betamax, landline, 3 channels of my TV.
You're so behind, I don't know if I should laugh or cry. You desperately need to go to Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Sounds futuristic.
It is. Max Stream TV, SaskTel Internet, and the latest cell phones.
Stream TV?
No schedule or waiting.
Internet?
High speed?
No phone cord.
No cord. Boy, your mind's gonna be blown.
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
MArc.ca.
Weather for next-gen coatings, spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name, 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com.
The weather for tonight, clearing with a low of 8 degrees. Tomorrow, becoming cloudy with a 60% chance of afternoon showers and storms. The high 21 degrees. On Wednesday, isolated showers and thunderstorms, about a 30% chance of that with a high of 17. Thursday, mainly cloudy with a high of 17 as well. And Friday, partly sunny and a high of 20 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
At Kevin's Marine, the lineup is stacked and ready. Legendary Lund boats built for serious fishing and non-stop family fun. Stretch out, crank the tunes, and cruise in style on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest. Or drop the throttle and make waves in a 4-wind sport boat. All powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Appreciate you coming along for the ride on this Monday afternoon. I'm Teagan Witko, joined by Curtis Gammon. He's the one keeping us on the radio at 620 CKRM and on the stream, sportscage.com, X, our YouTube. Join in the conversation there at any point. You can also text us. Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. I've been talking a lot about, the rule changes that are looming in 2027, coming off of a very entertaining week 2 of the CFL. Some people feeling like maybe the rule changes aren't needed. Game's entertaining enough. Other people maybe seeing it from the business perspective. So curious to hear what you have to say. Again, 306-936-6262. Still to come, Dr. Chantal Lucier. She's a mental performance coach and works very closely with the one and only Trevor Harris. So Justin Dunk of 3 Down Nation had an opportunity to catch up with her ahead of this weekend's game. So we're going to play that for you as we get closer to 6 o'clock. Also, in your Regina Red Sox report for U to 4594, Mitch McDonald. He's the assistant general manager and hitting coach for the Regina Red Sox. So we'll pick his brain a little bit ahead of this game in Swift Current against the 57s this evening. But first, we got to head out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you love. Let's get doubles on the line.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture. Precision in every pass and consistent depth and better yield. Visit DutchOpeners.com. On farm for you.
Oh, Darian, good to see your smiling face as always.
Absolutely. How you doing today?
Oh, good. We're coming off a Rider win. Things are good here in Saskatchewan.
Yes, indeed.
I want to pick your brain on Trevor Harris, though. I was just talking about him. He throws, Darian, 417 yards, 30 of 36 passes, engineers a late game comeback, that game-winning drive right at the end. What impressed you about his performance?
That he was sharp. He looked as if he didn't miss a beat, like the 2025 season just rolled over into the 2026 season. He was in command of the offense. He got rid of the ball on time, which Trevor's going to do very well. And most importantly, he took care of the ball. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. When it was time to take a sack, he took it. If he had to throw it where only his receivers could catch it, he made sure he did that, and they punted the ball when they had to. So he did everything you would expect out of a general, and he just picking right up where he left off last season.
And man, I'm kind of referring to it as the receiver trifecta. I mean, he was spreading the ball around quite a bit all night. But how difficult is it for the opposing defense when you have dangerous receivers and guys like Sam Emilus and Keyshawn Johnson, Kean Schaefer-Baker? They're all capable of making plays, and they proved that on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of fans didn't know what direction the team was going to go into when Dante Myers decided to go down south. But I always felt like they would be good offensively. Keyshawn Johnson just had a breakout season last year. Emilus and Schaefer-Baker are just doing what they've been doing for the past few years. And it's all about chemistry. This group has been together for a couple years now. They're all on the same page. You could just tell by the timing. Guys are where they need to be. Trevor could probably throw some of these passes blindly, the way their timing is just working out so perfectly. So when you have guys that understand timing, they understand offense, and they're all so good at what they do, it makes this offense so explosive.
So Samuel Emilus maybe didn't have the most amount of, targets, but he still scored a hat trick, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Man, what makes him so special?
He can do everything. And I mean, he's, being that his birth certificate is from the right country, he's in the slot. He knows exactly what to do. He understands the game. I mean, he's just a quarterback's best friend. I mean, you could just, whether it's man, whether it's he knows how to use leverage. You saw those corner routes late in the game. He changed his stem and his waggle. So, I mean, he's just a smart guy who knows what to do, and he's athletic enough to get it done.
I mean, when I think back to your playing days, Darian, you had guys like Weston Dressler, Fantuz, Getzlaff. How important for a quarterback is it to have those receivers that you can always rely on, especially late in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line?
That's what it's all about. I mean, these guys know how important it is to make sure you're playing your best football in the fourth quarter. You saw with Emilus on that last drive, that corner route I spoke on, how he's changing up his stem with these young BC defensive backs. He knows that they don't, they're young to the game, right? He's using their leverage against them. He's switching up the waggle on these guys. So, I mean, a lot of receivers they're good and talented early when they're their careers, but as they get a little bit older and they start to understand the game and where to be, and you're on the same page with your quarterback, I think that's what you're seeing more than anything with Samuel Emilus, is that him and Trevor are on the same page.
So let's move over to the defensive side. Obviously, we know there were some changes in the offseason. You got to replace guys like Malik Carney and Habakkuk Baldonado. From your perspective, how did the Riders' new look hold up against a very talented BC offense?
You know what? Coach Mace is such a good coach, man. He understands his personnel. And, like I said, Rich Stubler was one of his mentors, and they're just a bend but don't break type of defense. They'll give up yards. You'll see these big plays happening. But when the teams get in the score zone or red zone, they have to settle for field goals. They're not scoring touchdowns every time they get down there, and that's just huge. So, similar to the offense, the defense is pretty much picking right where they left off. I was concerned about yards and, some of the things that show up in the stat column last year. But then when you look at the score column, it's all about winning, and the other team is not putting up a lot of points. So I kind of see the same thing this year. They give up yards, but, they make plays at key times during the game. They make stops when they need to. And that's what it's all about, really, man. It's not about the stat column. It's all about the score column, and they're getting it done where it counts.
I mean, a W is a W, right?
Exactly. It's all that matters.
We heard a lot about that rookie defensive end, Desmond Evans, during training camp this season. He recorded a sack. What did you see in his game? Do you think that he could be a difference maker for this team?
I do. Burst. I mean, he, I didn't have a chance to really lay my eyes on him that much this preseason, but just seeing the burst off of the ball with him late in the game, you can see him bull rushing the tackle. He's just getting off the ball, getting after Nathan Rourke. And that's what you need. And that energy that he plays with, guys, you have to have energy at the defensive end position. And he did that. So I'm looking forward to seeing him grow this season. He has a great coach in Micah Johnson and Coach Mace to play up under. So looking forward to see how this season progresses for him.
And another relatively new face for Rider Nation, Josh Woods. now obviously making his debut with the Riders against his former team. As a player, is there a little extra motivation when you're lining up against the organization that just let you go?
100%. I mean, I'm sure he felt that. I felt it my first time playing against Saskatchewan, and you can ask 100 other guys how it feels to play against your former team, and I'm pretty sure they all say the same thing. It's just that you just want to go out there and win. And, sometimes you don't have your best game, but as long as you get the W, you have the bragging rights. So I know he's happy about that. And, he has room to grow as well as he gets in sync with these coaches and this new defense. So, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. And like I said, hopefully these guys can continue to grow as the season goes.
Well, and I'm sure coming into, Mosaic Stadium roaring with over 30,000 fans and a banner unveiling right before, kickoff, that's got to help.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just so happy to see the guys, especially the offense, just come out and start so fast with the ceremony being so electric, and all the video boards showing the guys reminiscing of last season. So I was glad to see the offense just come out and kind of put that behind them early and get off to a great start.
Darian Durant even made a little cameo on the big screen there for their hype up video when you were talking about being hungry for another Grey Cup win. That was pretty special for a lot of fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know they still love me a little bit and still think of me sometimes. And, whatever I can do to help, if it's a little motivational speak, if it's, speaking on X's and O's on the show, I'm here to voice my opinion on whatever I see, and I'm going to do that. So I appreciate Saskatchewan putting that up for me. And, everyone knows how I feel about the Riders.
Well, and I thought it was really interesting as I was standing on the sidelines, and even post-game, head coach Corey Mace had some comments on this in the media room, but there were guys who just, this is for the fans, the banner unveiling is for the fans. They were itching and getting antsy, ready to go. Would you have had that same mentality?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially after a bye week, right? Like you're just watching the games. You know that you're the defending champions. You're playing at home. You know how electric the stadium is going to be. You just have to sit back and wait and watch. So it's frustrating. So, and you're the defending champions, man. You want to get out there. You want to defend your crown. You lost some key pieces. So there are people in the media who are kind of questioning if you still have it, if you still have the dogs to go out there and compete. So, it's just a mixture of everything, man. You're ready to go, and the guys were ready. They got a dub week 1, and, I know they're looking forward to getting to Calgary this week and trying to go 2-0.
Well, and you mentioned quite a few new faces on the roster, obviously. Part of that is a specialist group. You have Alex Hale, Oscar Chapman, Aaron Crawford. As a quarterback, how important is it for you to build that camaraderie with your special teams units and your kicking unit so early in the season when you have all these fresh faces?
Yeah, you have to know where the guys like the ball, hash-wise. You have to understand that in Saskatchewan it's going to be windy pretty much 80% of your home games. So, you have to know if you're against the wind or with the wind. There's so many factors for kicker and punter, right? So, that's what happens when you become a veteran guy. You start looking at the game past the X's and O's, but you start playing the field position game, knowing when to punt, knowing if your field goal kicker has the leg to make a certain kick. So it's huge for Trevor and these guys to develop a great relationship.
So the offense on Saturday was pretty explosive through the air, but the run game wasn't quite as productive as we've seen in the past. Do you think it's important that they try to find that balance heading into Calgary this weekend?
Well, I think it's there. I mean, AJ had 15 touches. I think that's a good amount. I think it's there, but you have to continue to do what's working for you, right? I mean, Schaefer Baker was just on fire. You want to keep feeding him the ball. Keyshawn Johnson, as well as Sam Emulus. I mean, it's just, you have so many weapons and so many toys to play with. You just can't give the ball to them all. It's only one ball, right? But I think that as the season progresses, this was a young BC Lions secondary as well. Gary Peters was out. So I think that there was some opportunities for the Riders to take advantage of a weak BC Lions secondary, and they did that. But as the season goes, AJ will get his touches. There'll be certain games where there's inclement weather or whether you're playing against the wind. You never know, and he's going to be called upon more. So I wouldn't look too much into that. 15 touches is still a good amount, and he did some great things in the past game. If you look at the last TD to Sam Emulus, he picked up the blitz. He pretty much chopped the guy out the air. And I know that BC defender twice before running in there, jumping again with AJ Ouellette in the backfield. So he's doing the little things. He's shown that he still has the explosiveness, and he'll get his touches. I wouldn't worry about that.
Now, if you ask Wes Cates, he would strongly disagree with you. I wonder why.
Of course. Of course.
So, from a quarterback perspective, Trevor Harris obviously has talked a lot about this team not chasing last year's Grey Cup championship and focusing on creating its own identity. It's one thing to talk about it. How difficult is it, though, for a defending champion to avoid comparing itself to the team the previous year?
Well, it's really not that difficult, honestly. I mean, you are a totally different team. I mean, there are some key pieces from last year's team that's not there this year. And, everybody's after you, right? Every game is different. It's a different situation, different teams you're going against as well. So, of course, you always know that you have that target because you're the defending Grey Cup champs. But as a team, these guys definitely are on the right path when they say, look, we are a new team. We're trying to establish something different than last year. And we have different pieces. So you still have to get the new guys acclimated. You talked about Woods. You're talking about some of the guys in the special teams room. So it is a different team, and you have to make sure that everyone comes together. There are going to be some tough moments during the season, right? And you knew what you had in the guys last year, but these new guys, they're going to be some tough times, and you want to see if they're the type of guys you can rely on when things get rough.
So through one game, there's still plenty of football to be played this season. What are kind of your biggest takeaways in terms of what the Riders need to improve upon?
You know what? You kind of mentioned getting AJ a couple more touches, but I really can't nitpick at the offense because Trevor played so well. I mean, he's 30 for 36. If anything, it seems like they start off fast and then they, have a little lull right after halftime, and then they pick it up in the fourth quarter. I think we saw a pattern of that a little bit last year. So I would just say, offensively, if they could be a little more consistent in that second, third quarter range, that'll make things a lot easier. And then defensively, I want to see a lot more from the other guys up front. We mentioned Evans and getting after the quarterback, but I want to see what the other guys can do. And I wouldn't be too worried about the stats, man. Like I said, I always was worried because, you look at the stat column, the opposing quarterback would have 320, 330 yards. And, you always kind of felt like that's too much because you're thinking in terms of stats. But like I said, this is a bend but don't break defense. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns, and they do whatever they have to do to win. So I think they played a great week one game. And like I said, I'm anxious to see what happens next week in Calgary.
Looking at some of the other games on the schedule this past week, 3 for 3 in just great matchups, in my opinion, at least. What did you see in that Argos and Als game?
Well, Chad Kelly's back. I mean, he, showed a little bit of rust, but you see the arm talent. He's shown that he can still make all the throws. It's all about just honing in and making sure he's focused each and every play, which I think was, his problem with Coach Dinwiddie. But he's back, and Davis Alexander just shown that maybe he won't lose in the regular season. I don't know, man. This guy. It's just, and he's doing it when it counts each and every week. So I think he has almost 800 yards passing in 2 games, man. So he's letting it fly, and his receivers are doing a great job. So, a lot of offense coming out of that Toronto-Montreal game.
Ticats, Bombers, what did you see on Thursday night?
2 old vets just slugging it out, right? And, you like to see it. Guys that you think are maybe on their last leg, then they come out and Zach throws for over 400 yards. Bo does what he does best and, just keeps it going. So he's keeping it going for the older quarterbacks around the league. I know Trevor's loving to see that as well. And, I don't know. Winnipeg is kind of in that you just don't know. After week one, we felt like they weren't two of a team, and then after week 2, when they give up some big plays, now they're saying that these guys are too old to make plays. So, I mean, who knows? But I think Hamilton's still showing that they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the West. In the East, I'm sorry. And then we'll see what happens with Winnipeg and if they're too old to make a run this year.
I'll clip that one. Too old to make a run. I like it. We're getting spicy.
I said we'll see. We'll see.
No, we're not looking for bulletin board material here, Darian. Yeah. We're way past that. No, appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for this, and I look forward to catching up with you next week after that game in Calgary.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much again for this. We'll talk soon. Darian Durant joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Double Talk with Doubles. Of course, brought to you by Dutch Agriculture for consistent depth, better yield, and precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture on farm for you. So still to come, we have your Regina Red Sox report, which is just around the corner here. Your sports ticker, that's still going to be coming up. Oh, by the way, Regina Red Sox report does feature Mitch McDonald, the assistant general manager and hitting coach of the Regina Red Sox. So we'll get to that here in just a moment. But I do want to remind you, SaskTel Pick the Score is on. So if you want a chance to win a $200 gift card for SaskTel and tickets to the next Rider home game, all you need to do is text us your prediction for this Saturday's game, okay? Rider stamps, Saturday afternoon. What's going to be the final score? Text it into us. The closest guess will be taking home the prize, okay? Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Send us your prediction along with your name, and we will put you into the mix here, and you'll have a chance to win. We'll be making that draw on Friday. Okay, hang tight. Red Sox report, that's going to be coming up here in just a bit. This is the Sportscage on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
We caught up with Darren Oliphant, a proud prairie farmer, to ask why he has trusted his crops to Ag Direct Hail for over a decade.
The choice is simple. We like Ag Direct's rates and the convenience of purchasing online. When I've had a claim, my adjustments have been fast and fair. Now they're launching a claims-free discount. I would tell any prairie farmer to consider Ag Direct Hail for their coverage.
Find out why thousands of farmers just like Darren choose Ag Direct year after year. Visit agdirecthail.com or call toll-free.
Remember Bill in high school? $2,000 car, $7,000 stereo.
Now he's got a $700,000 drill, $2,000 worth of scrap iron for openers.
Morning. That drill may be fancy, but worn tips can lead to inconsistent depth and potentially lost yield. A fancy drill alone does not equal accurate seating.
Fancy drill, cheap openers. Don't be the new Bill. Talk to Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture, precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Yes, Western Canadian Baseball League action, regular season. Of course, Regina Red Sox traveling to Swift Current to take on the 57s. First pitch will go out just after 7 o'clock. Canadian Elite Basketball League, you got Ottawa. The Blackjacks are in Saskatoon to face the Mamba, and tip-off is just after 7:30. Jays are off today. They're going to be opening up a brand new set against the Boston Red Sox in Boston tomorrow. Heading to the mound for the Jays, Cease. And of course, within a matter of 24 hours, we saw the NBA and NHL come to a close as the Carolina Hurricanes are your 2026 Stanley Cup champions, back on the cup after 2 decades. And then the New York Knicks are NBA champions after 53 long years of waiting. They finally climbed back to the top of the basketball world, capturing the NBA title with a hard-fought finals win over the San Antonio Spurs, led by a superstar performance from Jalen Brunson. Canada back on the pitch this Thursday in the World Cup of Soccer, taking on Qatar at 4 o'clock local time. Also, if you would like to have your say on our Sportscage.com poll, absolutely hit us up. Go check it out right now, Sportscage.com. How much of soccer's World Cup will you be watching? I can tell you personally, I will watch more and more as the hype goes on. I'll be watching as Canada continues to play more. Otherwise, I don't know, just not the biggest European football fan? Soccer. Can we call it soccer? We can call it soccer. It's fine. Okay, let us know. Sportscage.com poll. Let us know how much you are going to be invested in this World Cup of Soccer. Still to come, your Regina Red Sox report for Unifor 594. Mitch McDonald is going to be joining us, Assistant General Manager and hitting coach of the Regina Red Sox. Also, if you missed out on any of the conversations we've had thus far throughout the show, thanks to Freeze Tallman Lumber, you can always go back and listen in podcast form. So that's wherever you happen to get your podcasts from. Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it is. Or, of course, you can always go to sportscage.com there as well. We had some really good conversations today. So if you want to go back, listen to our chat with Darian Durant that we just had, dissecting this Rider victory over the BC Lions this past weekend at Mosaic Stadium with the banner raising and everything like that. It was definitely one to remember for a lot of Rider fans. And tailgating for the first time, right? Which was also pretty cool to see. So it's kind of a marquee weekend here in Rider Nation as they now shift their attention to the game in Calgary against the Stamps this weekend, which is going to be a tough test. I mean, they didn't fare so well against the Stampeders last season. So Mike O'Donnell also joined us on the show a little bit earlier. If you didn't have a chance to catch that, definitely go back. Very, very intelligent man, former commissioner of the Regina High School Athletic Association. 4-time Ward 8 City Councilor, also a member of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. They're going to be naming a street after him in Coopertown, which is also really cool, so well-deserved. Coopertown, by the way, is going to be that new development in Regina's northwest area, kind of right off North Courtney and 9th Avenue there as you kind of hit the bypass. They broke ground on that, and yes, it was announced that they're going to be naming a street after him, which is awesome. Riders Coaches Show, we had Rider Offensive Coordinator Mark Mueller join us just after 4 o'clock. So if you want to go back and hear what he had to say after the receiving corps showed up on Saturday for the Riders, it was definitely fun to watch, Kean Schaefer-Baker and Keyshawn Johnson, Samuel Emelis. Definitely one for a lot of fans to remember as that was the banner unveiling day. And then, of course, clutch performers and all that other good stuff. You can make sure to go back and listen to it at any point. Okay, also, Roughrider Foundation 50/50. If you haven't already got in on this, plenty of exclusive giveaways throughout the season. Sports trip, vacation destinations, early bird prize, a new one to be won every single home game or every single game in general throughout the season. A variety of different ticket packages that you can buy as well. You can even set them up to be recurring, so you don't even have to think about it, and you're just in on the 50/50. Tickets are available online, riders5050.ca. The current early bird prize that is up for grabs, Kananaskis Nordic Spa for 2. Now, this package includes a 2-night stay at the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge and 1 day of hydrotherapy, which I am told is in that fancy capsule. So if you just want to disassociate from the world for a little bit, very therapeutic. Cut out all the noise. Anyway, you can take that trip. It's a Nordic Spa, Kananaskis trip for 2, or take the money. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you don't want to relax. Who am I to judge? You can take $2,700. The deadline this Thursday at 10 p.m. Again, riders5050.ca if you want to get in on this. And of course, join the conversation at any point at 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line, of course. And now it looks like we are ready to hop out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and chat with our next guest. It's the Regina Red Sox Report.
Showcasing the boys of summer. Time for another edition of the Sportscage Regina Red Sox Report on 620 CKRM. Brought to you by Unifor 594. Energy workers. Putting the care in career since 1942. Safety is our business.
And I am pleased to be joined by our next guest. This is Mitch McDonald, the Assistant General Manager and hitting coach of the Regina Red Sox. Mitch, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know that you're probably en route or in Swift Current by this point, but I understand that we're young into the season, But Mitch, we've already seen a lot of high-scoring, momentum-shifting games across the league. What does that tell you about the offensive environment in the WCBL right now?
Yeah, it's just kind of seemed almost across the board in the league there. Those first 2 weeks, like you said, very high-scoring games. Kind of maybe leads you to believe that offense is at kind of an early advantage throughout the league, and maybe hitters were seeing things, or maybe kind of a little more, I guess, kind of in sync compared to pitching across the league, at least for those first couple of weeks. Seems like things have kind of settled in here as of late.
Well, I mean, obviously you're doing your job, right, as hitting coach. So
that's up to those guys now.
So what are you seeing as the biggest adjustment challenge for hitters early in the season? I mean, especially because they're coming from, colleges where they're working with different coaching staffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every single one, but by and large, the biggest adjustments in this league will always just be the wood bat element. Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot of forgiveness with wood bats. I know a lot of teams and a lot of players will use the bomb bat, which kind of helps them out a little bit, but there's still the exit velocity deterrent with the bomb bats. So being able to swing one for 56 games in a really compressed schedule, kind of, there's not a lot of room to hide, as we like to say with wood bats. You kind of get exposed for the hitter that you are with the wood bat.
In games like recent matchups where Regina has been right in it late but not always finishing, what do you think the key offensive lessons are that you're taking away from the coaching perspective? Those are just they're finding ways to give themselves opportunities to win games. They're right there and they're finding ways on base. They're getting contributions from a little bit of everyone up and down the lineup. And in a lot of games, I had an old coach that used to say there's 5 moments in the game that really determine whether or not you win or lose. But you never know when those are coming, so be prepared for all of them. And it doesn't matter if it's in the 3rd inning, the 6th inning, or there's 2 outs, you're down by 1, and the bases loaded in the 9th. You just kind of have to be prepared for all of them. It just kind of comes down to making sure you're geared up for every chance you get. Saskatoon and Moose Jaw have both shown that they can win in different ways. How does that shape how you prepare your hitters for those, matchups that are so close to home?
Yeah, I think in those cases, there are a little bit of rivalry games within the division and proximity as well. The division's pretty close right now, too. I think everyone's within, about 4 games of each other, and it's still early enough. There's a lot of familiarity with, some of our returners and then some of the returners in Saskatoon or Moose Jaw, for example, that players have kind of played against in the last couple of years. So, in this level, you kind of just want players to do what they do well and not to get away from that too much. So, approaches are kind of tailor-made to what a guy does well at the plate, and you want to make sure that he's comfortable and then just doing what he's good at.
So in your opponent tonight, Swift Current 57s, what do you see on their roster defensively?
A lot of young talents. They're kind of dispersed throughout. Good. Really kind of where things are as a team offensively. You kind of want to jump on a team early. In this case, it's a Current. Kind of see if the other team keep pace with you a little bit, and then every coach on the planet will tell you driving runners in with 2 outs is a big key part of the game. So, the more that you can do that, the better off you are. And so that's usually kind of a point of emphasis.
So we're still pretty early into the season here, Mitch McDonald. What's the one thing that you feel this offense still needs to unlock, though, to become even more dangerous when it comes to hitting?
It kind of comes down to a little bit of what I just touched on a little bit. Every team on the planet, every player will tell you that being able to drive runs in consistently is a key part of the game, and it's a key part of what kind of gets you to the next step, too. So as guys are building towards that, we want to make sure that, their at-bats are getting better every game. What they're seeing, the pitch selections they're swinging at, those different types of things. And you really just kind of want to build it. One thing to kind of keep in mind is every team is in the same boat, but, the vast majority of players have had some kind of time off, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time to kind of lose your timing. They'll get it back quick, but it doesn't take long to lose it. So you kind of want to build it up so that players are at their best come playoff time. When it really kind of matters, so to speak.
So you're in Swift Current tonight, welcoming division rival, I guess you could say, in the Saskatoon Berries back to Curry Field tomorrow night. How are you liking the new look, the new feel, all the upgrades to Curry Field?
Yeah, it's been great what new ownership has done to the field. The scoreboard it just adds an element that wasn't there before. You can see who's up to bat now, and there's big headshots, and it's just, some replay action happening for nice plays and those kinds of things, and then just nice graphics all the time. Yeah, like I said, it's just an element that wasn't there before. And then around the ballpark, there's kind of some aesthetic fixing with some of the bleachers, and they brought in the food trucks, those kinds of things, which is added it all. And then there's the one kind of little extra kind of patio, I'll call it, down the left field line too, which gives people kind of a neat bird's eye view. I think anytime you're in a slightly elevated position watching baseball, it's just really nice. So I know as fans that they have to be pretty happy with some of the upgrades that have happened around the ballpark there at Curry.
Well, here's hoping that it's a hail-free Tuesday this week. I know I still got to figure out. I got to get my vehicle assessed. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was quite a week.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, forecast looks good. First things first, though, you got Swift Current tonight, so best of luck against the 57s there, Mitch.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the time. Joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, of course, that was Mitch McDonald, Assistant General Manager and hitting coach of the Regina Red Sox. Appreciate them taking the time with us every week. The Red Sox Report, of course, brought to you by Unifor 594. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we have a conversation with Three Down Nation's own Justin Dunk with Dr. Chantal Lucier, who is Trevor Harris's mental performance coach. Very intriguing conversation, so hang tight for that. This is the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Since 1942, Unifor 594 has safely served the community and the ever-changing energy sector. We are the unionized workers at the Co-op Refinery in Regina and the Co-op Ethanol Complex in Belle Plaine. We are process operators, tradespeople, lab techs, warehouse workers, tank car loaders, administration staff, and so much more. Unifor 594 workers are also your neighbors, your friends, your volunteers, your community. Unifor 594. Safety is our business.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Come over for a chit-chat. That's what my boss said the other day. A chit-chat? Am I visiting my grandma for a hard candy on the Chesterfield? Well, whatever you call it, one thing's for sure. Smart drivers go to your local Cooper tire dealer. They carry Cooper Cobra Instinct tires. They bring your car to a shorter stop on wet roads and have decisive maneuvering and sporty performance. Visit your local Cooper tire dealer and ask for Cooper Cobra Instinct tires. A chit-chat?
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Hey, it's your stomach. We need to talk. What are you doing to me here? Another sad little salad? I like eating healthy as much as the next stomach, but sometimes I want to live. Load me up with a Western pizza, pepperoni, ham, bacon, melty cheese. Now we're talking. And maybe some ribs, lasagna, or souvlaki on the side. Treat me like a respected stomach. Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. This is Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Dr. Chantal Lucier joins us. She is a mental performance coach based in our nation's capital. Ottawa. Chantel, I really am excited to do this interview with you. Thank you so much for sharing some time and your expertise in joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
I have so many questions, and I've been looking forward to it as well. But I think we should start with a basic one. How did you get into mental performance coaching?
Before I was a mental performance coach, I was actually a professionally trained ballet dancer and performing artist. And I had a 12-year career performing on stage and film and television. But like all athletes, at some point, I was looking at what next, what was going to happen in my post-athletic career. And I ended up going back to university, and I tripped into sports psychology courses. And I was like, where was this information when I could have used it as an artist and an athlete?
And you've been doing this for a long time now with, from what I understand, a wide range of clients, not just professional athletes. What kind of people do you help?
Yeah, I've got this wonderful diversity on my client roster, from pro athletes, elite athletes, Olympians, Paralympians, NCAA youth sport athletes, as well as high school competitive athletes on the sporting side of things. But then I also work with high performers in other industries. Given my background in dance and the performing arts, I also work with many pre-professional and professional artists, including in dance and music and acting and singing. And then I work also with military members, police officers, tactical units, firefighters, surgeons. I've even worked with some lawyers, because all of us, whatever our craft is, whatever our domain of excellence is, all of us experience pressure and are trying to be the best version of ourselves. And then of course I've got plenty of entrepreneurs and business leaders as well in my roster.
One of the phrases you use there, Chantel, be the best version of ourselves, will sound familiar to Saskatchewan Roughriders fans because Trevor Harris uses that quite often. But before we get to talking about your work with Trevor, what's the process like when you first begin to work with someone in the mental gym?
Athletes and their families are pretty familiar if they're going to hire a new strength and conditioning coach or someone in sports medicine or even in nutrition. They kind of know what to expect. But I find the mental gym's a little bit more mysterious. The first session is really what's called an intake session. So it's an opportunity to meet, to get to know someone's story, to try to catch up to their lived experience, both as a human and as an athlete. But depending on the athlete, there might also be some mental skills assessments that will be done as well that help to complete the picture.
For people that don't know, Chantel, you have the Canadian football actually behind you, the official CFL football. How many CFL athletes do you work with, approximately?
I do have athletes across a number of different teams every single season, and I've been doing this now. This is going into my 9th year, from practice roster to starters and on all sides of the ball.
You do work with Trevor Harris. That's the reason why we wanted to get into this topic with you, and I think it's so enlightening already so far, Chantel. But how did you actually meet Trevor?
I was lucky enough to get to meet Trevor in 2018 when I was blessed to have an opportunity to work with the Ottawa Red Blacks. And it didn't take too long until many other starters decided that they did want to do some individual work, including, of course, quarterback Trevor Harris.
Would you say, Chantel, that was the first time that a mental performance coach was brought in by a Canadian Football League team, at least to your knowledge?
I don't think it's the first time, but I do think it's the first time, perhaps, that a woman was brought in.
That means you're a trailblazer. How does that make you feel?
Well, thank you. I don't often think of myself in that way.
How did you help Trevor with his mental approach leading into a season where the team's coming off winning a championship and there are even higher expectations, dare I say, of this team to go back-to-back for the first time in its history?
I think that from a mindset perspective, the idea of coming into a season from a defensive mentality, I don't think is the right approach either. So I'm thrilled to see everybody embracing, no, new chapter, turn the page, here we go. And the way that I see it, come Saturday, before the first snap, we can all look up at the scoreboard. It's going to be 0-0. Nobody's won the cup yet this year.
How does the mental work change through the years, season to season, for example, let's say in the Canadian Football League, when you work with a client such as Trevor for so long?
Yeah, that's been a beautiful thing to discover, of course. And I've been blessed with Trevor and other athletes in other sports to accompany them for many, many years in their seasons. And it varies again, athlete by athlete for many different reasons, including all of a sudden, if we look to Trevor, growing family. When I first met Trevor and his wife, they had one wonderful child, right, with TJ. And now, of course, they've got 4. And so that alone right there changes in the most wonderful ways perspective and priorities and how we see the game and how we balance other things too, right? It's like, how do we optimize sleep? When number 4 comes along. And I'm sure that there's a lot of families perhaps listening who can relate to that, right? We don't necessarily need to be pro football players to know that sometimes getting quality sleep is difficult. But the other piece that I would say is a big, big theme that I see changing in the most wonderful ways as the years go by, and I know you all witness it all the time, you see great leaders emerge like Trevor. How do I have an impact, not just on my own performance, but how do I help the team?
Trevor Harris clearly understands the power of mental performance coaching, but what do you wish more athletes and coaches understood about it?
There's many different pieces, but I think the first one would be the myth of it's only when there's a problem, and I think if we wait for a problem to arise to go in the mental gym, that's almost like waiting to either experience illness or an injury before we ever go to the gym, right? We know that cultivating health and wellness before we even pursue athletic, excellence is really important. Why wouldn't we take the same approach with our mental and emotional well-being, right? And to first and foremost be able to cultivate that well-being, but then after that to look at what are the skill set that'll be difference makers.
And Trevor Harris has been doing it for a while, and it's got to be a big reason why he's now playing professional football into his 40s. How unbelievable is what he's doing at this, we'll call it advanced age in football years, at least, professional football years.
Hey, if we're doing that, you're going to make me feel a certain way about my own age.
I'm in my 40s too, so it's okay.
It is absolutely wonderful what he's doing. And I have to say from a mindset perspective, the piece I love about it, and it's a challenge for all of us when numbers are being talked about, is to check in and be like, do I have limiting beliefs around a certain age? And in sport, we have so many limiting beliefs around age, right? And I think sometimes in the past, we've made decisions either as an athlete, like I retired from dance at 30. And in hindsight, I'm like, why? And it was because at that time in the dance world, like that was sort of like, you've hit 30, that's it. You hang up the dance shoes, There was just ingrained limiting beliefs. And now we see so many examples, Trevor being one of them, that's so wonderful. That's like, you know what? It really just is a number one. But number 2, what if we're just hitting our stride?
You've made me feel better about my age.
I'm trying to make myself feel better too, okay?
You've probably done that for a lot of people. I like the idea of limiting beliefs and sort of fighting back against that, at least from a mental approach.
This may seem a little cheesy. I don't know. You tell me. But sometimes I think I'm in the business of interior design. I'm really an inner mental architect. Right?
I like that. I don't think that's cheesy at all.
Thank you. And when we step out onto the field, just like when you do the work that you do, you can't leave parts of yourself behind and still fully show up and do the best job. All of you comes with you.
Chantel, for anyone listening, and I don't know who wouldn't want to work with you after this enlightening conversation, it's been unbelievable, even just for me. So if there are people that want to work with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would just suggest to find my website. So my website is simply my name, ChantelLucier.com. And if it's someone who's interested in having an individual one-on-one appointment, I do offer some 15-minute free introductory appointments and 60-minute regular appointments. And that can simply be booked on my website,
For the people that are listening to this in audio form and might not have her name handy, we want to make sure we get it right.
Yes.
Chantale, Chantel Lussier, Lussier. Chantel, is there any parting thought that you want to leave us with?
I think all of us have a lot more to offer the world. And I think sometimes we play small. And I think one of the ways we get to do that is, and I'm going to throw another metaphor here, is to be better farmers cultivating the stuff of who we are. So I think we just have to be more intentional about who we are becoming every day and participate intentionally in that process.
That farmer analogy hits home with me. I grew up on a farm just outside of Guelph, and it will hit home with the Saskatchewan Roughriders fans on the heartland in the prairie, Chantel. So well done. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but very well done.
I'm an outdoorsy girl and definitely have my honorary farm girl badge.
We love it. And I'm sure the Riders fans will too, as I'm sure they're going to just eat up this interview and take so much away from what we will be able to harvest from it. So thank you so much for the time, sharing your unique insights. And I'll just say for me personally, trusting me to do this interview, Chantel, it really does mean a lot.
Thank you so much.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan-owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI-accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.